You're looking at Boston on a drizzly Sunday evening, and 30 miles south is Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, where the Patriots and Tom Brady will host the Denver Broncos. With the Red Sox off the radar, it is officially and exclusively football season in New England, and this huge crowd at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough greeting their New England Patriots, winners of 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls, as they get set to take on John Lynch, Champ Bailey, and the Denver Broncos on Sunday Night Football. Al Michaels along with John Madden, Andrew Kramer, welcome to Foxborough. The Broncos hope their dominance continues over the Patriots. Counting a postseason game last year, Denver has beaten New England 4 of the last 5 times they have faced each other. This year, the good news for Denver, they haven't given up a touchdown. The bad news, they've scored only 1, and thus their record is only 1-1. On 6 field goals last week, beat Kansas City in overtime. Meanwhile, New England had to come from behind on opening day to beat Buffalo, built up a big lead last week, then held on to beat the Jets, so they come in with a record of 2 wins and no defeats. But John, they haven't been dominant. They lost 6 starters plus their kicker Adam Vinatieri during the offseason and earlier this season, and they've also now lost Deion Branch, their leading receiver, as well. Is this team still among the creme de la creme in the NFL?
You know, I think they are. I think they, are the elite or in the group of the elite. And anytime you have Bill Belichick coaching and you have Tom Brady quarterbacking, you have to be in the elite. And I was talking to Bill Belichick about the wide receiver position the other day, and he said, we're a work in progress there, and Tom Brady really doesn't feel comfortable yet with his wide receivers. So what that's doing is making them more throw to the tight end, throw to the backs, and more of a running team.
Now tonight they face Denver, and we all know that Mike Shanahan has been an offensive mastermind. Yet offensively in 2 games they've done next to nothing. Defensively they've been great. Is this a change in progress? Will Denver be a team whose fate gets determined more by defense than offense now?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I watch them, and I don't think their defense is as good as you think their defense is, and I don't think their offense is as bad as you think the offense is. And this is going to be a Mike Shanahan team. It's going to be, about being able to run the ball and then they have to stop the run. They have to tackle better on defense. And then if they can run the ball, then Jake Plummer is going to be able to do the things that he does well, and that's play action, pass, and bootleg.
This should be fun in Foxborough tonight. It's 68 degrees, and you'll be taking a look at 2 coaches who've won 5 Super Bowls between them. Mike Shanahan with 2, Bill Belichick with 3 on Sunday Night Football.
NBC's Sunday Night Football is brought to you by General Motors, a new level of quality, a new level of confidence. By Energizer E² Lithium, keep going. And by FedEx. For more football fun, go to FedExFootball.com. NBC Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, home of the Patriots since 2002, built adjacent to the old Foxborough Stadium, which closed with a bang on the night of the Snowball when they beat Oakland and propelled themselves to their first Super Bowl title. Steven Gostowski will do the kicking. That first K is silent. He was their 4th round selection in the draft when they let Adam Vinatieri get away. Vinatieri going to Indianapolis, so they had to draft a kicker. He kicked at Memphis in college, and he will send it down to Quincy Morgan, who just joined the Broncos last week. They've been having trouble running back kicks. Morgan, late of the Pittsburgh Steelers, cut before the start of the season, and away we go from Foxborough, and Morgan starts to come out and says, I've only been here 6 days. I better just take a knee. Let's take a look at the Denver offense.
Jake Plummer, Arizona State.
Tatum Bell, Oklahoma State.
Kyle Johnson, Syracuse.
Rod Smith, Missouri Southern.
Javon Walker, Florida State.
Steven Alexander, Oklahoma.
Matt Lepsis is the left tackle. The left guard is Ben Hamilton. The longtime center is Tom Nalen in his 13th season. Cooper Carlisle is the right guard, and the right tackle is big, 338-pound George Foster. I gave you the guys because it's a tradition in Denver. They don't introduce themselves. They don't talk to the media. But there is your interior 5. It goes back to the days of Alice Gibbs coaching the offensive line. And that's Tatum Bell around the left side. And he picks up 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3. And let's take a look at the New England defense.
Ty Warren, Texas A&M.
Vince Wilfork, Hurricanes.
Richard Seymour, University of Georgia.
Mike Vrabel, The Ohio State University.
Junior Seau, Fight On USC.
Teddy Bruschi, Arizona.
Roosevelt Colvin, Broad Ripple High School.
Ellis Hobbs III, DeSoto High School.
Eugene Wilson, University of Illinois.
Rodney Harrison, Markham, Illinois.
Sante Samuel, Boyd Anderson High School.
Yes, the Junior Seau, who retired for about a day and a half this summer. Mike Vrabel makes the tackle here on Tatum Bell, and it will be 3rd down and 2 for the Denver Broncos.
You know, Vrabel makes a lot of tackles. This guy is one of the most valuable players on this Patriot defense because he can play inside linebacker, outside linebacker, play the pass and drop back, or rush the passer. Anything he does, this guy is a top guy. There he is right there, just circled his head.
And he's caught 6 passes in his regular season career, all for touchdowns, and 2 postseason passes, both for touchdowns.
Well, he's a very smart player. He's not the middle linebacker who usually calls the defenses, but he does call the defenses for this Patriot team.
Denver spreads it out on 3rd and 2, and out of the shotgun, they'll get the 1st down. That's caught by the former Green Bay Packer, Javon Walker. And Walker at the 44, but a penalty flag has been thrown. Jerry Austin, the veteran, a man who's refereed a couple of Super Bowls, will make the call.
Penalty flag was way on the other side of the field.
Illegal contact, 55 of the defense. Penalty is declined. The result of the play is a 1st down.
That was Junior Seau whistled for the foul. 1st down.
You know, you say, what does Mike Shanahan do? We were talking about how they package things differently. Here he goes empty backfield, and you see the crosser. They pick up one cross going to the left, and they don't get Javon Walker, the other crosser, coming to the right.
So Jake Plummer completes his first pass of the night. Jake off to a poor start this season. His pass rating coming in tonight, 38.6, no touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 3 on opening day against St. Louis. On 1st down, the protection's good, but then he has to swing it to the outside. This is Tatum Bell with a nice run across the 50. Now they have 2 Bells. They have Tatum Bell and a rookie, Mike Bell, a free agent, and they've been alternating. But Mike Shanahan told us last night, he said, you know what, I'm going to leave Tatum in there. And I think what Mike wants is for Tatum to distance himself from Mike Bell and clearly become the #1 guy.
Right. You know, every team in the NFL now feels that they have to have 2 running backs, but as Mike says, you'd like to have some separation between the 2, and he said he's going to play this game and let Tatum Bell be the guy, and then Mike Bell just spell him.
You saw Mike Bell 20 on the sideline. Plummer now from the 46 over the middle, and that pass is caught by Rod Smith. Rod Smith, 12th year out of Missouri Southern, has caught more than 800 passes in his career. Had a concussion last week, and then he was cleared to play, and he makes the first catch of the pass thrown to him tonight.
You know, Mike Vrabel called Rod Smith the other day a Patriot killer. And you know that Jake Plummer, when he feels a blitz coming like this, he is going to find Rod Smith, and Rod Smith is going to find an opening for Jake Plummer.
Plummer 3 for his first 3. Ball at the 40-yard line. And this is Tatum Bell, and this time he will not get out of the backfield. Ty Warren, number 94, the first to get him, and Mike Vrabel helps to clean up.
The Patriots played that very well. That's that zone play where the whole line just comes to the right and they get the back in behind it and get a push, but the Patriots won that battle on the line of scrimmage.
So now it's 3rd down and 6, and the crowd already rises.
The Patriots are in their nickel pass defense, 5 defensive backs. This is where they give the exotic blitzes and coverages.
And here comes the blitz. And Plummer has a little bit of time, but the pass is incomplete, intended for Walker. He was covered there by Ellis Hobbs. Would have been shy of the first down anyway. So Denver picks up 2 first downs, but now they're forced to punt.
This is where Bill Belichick becomes a, what do you call him, a brainiac. And you know, in this situation, he gets you in 3rd down. He's going to give you different combinations of secondary and linebackers, and with that, anyone can blitz.
Paul Ernster is the Denver punter, and Troy Brown, who does everything. Receiver, defensive back, run back man, 14th year in the league, is back to receive the kick. But he's going to let it go, and it bounces at the 1 with backspin. Just perfect. Jerome Cox, number 40, downs it there. So a beautiful kick. Ernster gets saluted on the sideline because New England will start from its own 2-yard line when we come back. Sunday Night Football is being brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL, an official airline of Super Bowl 41. By Budweiser Select, brewed longer for a bold taste that finishes clean. Expect everything. By Comcast, watch more high-def movies from Comcast, where HD movies live. And by Verizon Wireless. Just want to report something. Some of you may have heard Chris Sims, the Tampa Bay quarterback, in the hospital. That is true as New England starts and moves it out to the 4-yard line on first down. That's Corey Dillon. There was an erroneous report that he was in critical condition. Our Peter King of Football Night in America talked to Bruce Allen of the Tampa front office, who said he is not in critical condition, but he is in the hospital in Tampa for undisclosed reasons, and we will follow it up throughout the night. And of course, we're all thinking about Chris, and obviously Chris's dad, Phil, at a time like this. 2nd down and 7 from the 4-yard line. Dillon to the other side, and that's a great tackle in the backfield made by DJ Williams. Let's take a look at the New England offense.
Tom Brady, Michigan.
Corey Dillon, Seattle, Washington.
Troy Brown, Marshall.
Richard Caldwell, University of Florida.
Benjamin Watson, University of Georgia.
Daniel Graham, Colorado.
Matt Light, Purdue University.
Logan Mankins, Fresno State.
Dan Copen, Boston College.
Stephen Neal, Cal State Bakersfield.
Ryan O'Callahan, Cal Berkeley.
O'Callahan, a 5th-round draft choice, a rookie and a starter. 3rd down and 8. Again, it's Dillon. And again, this time Dillon picks up the first down. So 3 runs for Dillon. Left, right, and then through the middle. Lynch makes the tackle, and New England able to move the chains.
Yeah, you're talking about Ryan O'Callahan, the rookie right tackle. He's a pretty good player, too. You know, you see a guy and you think he's going to have problems, but this guy doesn't. I mean, you watch him just all fire out. They get a double team here on the left side, and the Broncos start to flow down. Dillon reads flow and cuts back against it.
Lawrence Maroney, good-looking rookie, is in the backfield now. He swings out into the pattern, and the pass is caught by the tight end Benjamin Watson, knocked down by DJ Williams. And let's take a look at the Denver D.
Kennard Lane, the U. Gerard Warren, Florida.
Michael Myers, Alabama.
Ebenezer Ekuban, Carolina.
DJ Williams, the U.
Al Wilson, Tennessee.
Ian Gold, Michigan.
Champ Bailey, Georgia.
John Lynch, Stanford.
Nick Ferguson, Georgia Tech.
Darren Williams, Oklahoma State.
So DJ Williams from the U, the University of Miami, he was down after making the last tackle. Injury timeout. DJ Williams appears to be fine. Walked off under his own power shortly after we went into commercial. Should be back in very shortly. 2nd down and 5 now. New England staying on the ground. And this is Lawrence Maroney. He is the rookie out of Minnesota, their #1 draft choice. And a guy who they want to work into the action, and he has seen a lot of action. In fact, in his first 2 carries against Buffalo, he gained 27 yards on the first and 22 on the second.
Well, he's a good-looking running back. Everyone I talk to in the league thinks that Lawrence Maroney is a real deal. And Bill Belichick says, you know, the thing that I like about him is if we get things blocked up, he could take the ball 40 or 50 yards. So you usually think of a 40 or 50 yards play and a pass and a wide receiver, but Maroney can give it to him in the running game.
Now on 3rd and 8 from the 15. Brady. And that pass is incomplete. So they do get 1 first down to get out of the shadow of the goalpost. Daniel Graham was the intended receiver, but Denver should wind up with pretty good field position with about 8 minutes remaining in the opening period.
And you notice who he's throwing to. He's throwing to Ben Watson and to Daniel Graham, his tight ends. And I think that, you know, as I was saying earlier, he doesn't have a real comfort factor yet with his wide receivers, but he does have with his tight ends.
Josh Miller, former Steeler, 11th year, tied for the league lead in net punting after 2 weeks. And the left footer this time with a line drive hopper that will roll dead just inside the 40-yard line. First touched up at about the 39-yard line. And so the New England Patriots will take over, or the Denver Broncos will take over at that spot, despite New England contending that they wound up with the ball. They were the first to touch it at the 37-yard line. Now the officials are going to confer before we go to the break here. Jerry Austin heads this crew. It appeared the Patriots touched it first.
We have first touching by the kickers at the 39-yard line. First down and 10, Denver.
Yep, that is the call. Just to make it official. First quarter, no score in New England.
Bob Costas in New York with Sports Illustrated's Peter King. Peter, what is the latest on Chris Sims, the Tampa quarterback?
Bob talked to Diana Sims, Chris Sims' mother, a few minutes ago, and she said that Chris had had his spleen removed, had also had a blood transfusion, was resting comfortably in a hospital in Tampa, and probably would stay there for several days. But he's out of danger, and she does not see any imminent danger whatsoever for Chris.
Peter, thanks. Back to Foxborough.
All right, thank you, Bob. And of course, our thoughts with the Sims family as on first down, Bell swings to the outside, Tatum Bell, and picks up about 7 yards. Tatum Bell out of Oklahoma State, 2nd-round draft choice in 2004. And, you know, John, we watched the Broncos through the years. It doesn't really matter. I mean, they had Clinton Portis and said, you know what, we've got a system that works. We can even trade him away.
You know, they do, and that's a Mike Shanahan thing. It's that zone blocking and then the backside cut. So you can go play side, and if they overreact, you just cut it back. On that one, Tatum Bell just outran the Patriot defense.
Denver noted for a quick and light, relatively speaking, offensive line through the years, and that one is tipped and incomplete. Trying to get it into Bell, and it falls to the turf just shy of the 50-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 3. Jake Plummer, one of the stories, of course, in Denver, and it's always, you know, the other quarterback who people want when you start out the season the way Jake has. And Mike Shanahan said, no chance. They've got a great-looking rookie in Jay Cutler out of Vanderbilt. There is Cutler. He said, but Plummer is my man. Case closed right now. 3rd down and 3 up at the 46-yard line. Plummer from the gun. Backpedals and nearly has that one intercepted by Teddy Bruschi, who cemented the win last week against the New York Jets with an interception. And the crowd, roo, roo.
You know, isn't Teddy Bruschi something? I mean, you think of him a year ago. He has a stroke. He comes back for that. He breaks his wrist in the preseason, you know, and he has that operated on. He's playing with a cast, but he just, in any situation, run or pass, he knows exactly where to be.
Blumber looked like he was throwing into a kaleidoscope. Ernster's punt, run back by Kevin Falk to the 24-yard line. New England. Brady begins possession number 2 at that spot. 7:02 remaining in the opening period. Denver, nothing. New England, nothing. At 7 o'clock. So the Bears and the Seahawks next week, Soldier Field, 3-0 against 3-0.
Boy, the Seahawks sure looked explosive today against the Giants.
Oh boy, after a 35-0 lead. Won the game by 12. Here's Dylan for 1. Let's go to Andrea Kramer. Good evening, Andrea.
Good evening, Al. While you're talking about the Bears Seahawks next week, well, I talked to Lovie Smith after the Bears' 19-16 win at Minnesota. He called it the biggest road win of his 3-year head coaching career. He said, hey, all quarterbacks have bad days and make bad plays, referring to Rex Grossman's interception return for a touchdown. But he said on the sideline, he told him, we're going to get the ball back for you, make the most of the opportunity. He did that fourth quarter touchdown pass of his career. They won it big, and now they're on next week, Sunday Night Football.
Well, just after that 2-minute warning on 2nd down and 8, Brady swings it out to Troy Brown, and a flag comes in at the end of the play. Brown was knocked out of bounds very close to the first down marker, and they'll pick up the first down off the late hit here.
That was close to a horse collar there at the end, wasn't it? Tom Brady is really good at this. You know, that empty backfield, spread everything out, find the open ball. The open guy can get him the ball quickly.
Number 22 of the defense, 15 yards, first down.
Dominique Foxworth. And last week, the Denver Broncos became the first team in history to play an overtime game with no penalties. And tonight they play the first 8 minutes and 40 seconds of this one.
You know, and one of the things that the Broncos know about the Patriots is when they put Dominic Foxworth in there, the Patriots find him and they go after him. They usually stay away from Champ Bailey.
For good reason.
Yeah.
On first down, Brady comes back to the near side and hits Rashae Caldwell. And Caldwell, the ex-Charger, is tackled there by Ian Gold. The Chargers thought they really had something in Caldwell, but he never really developed. And he comes over here, and he's going to get a tremendous opportunity to be a star here.
This is an interesting play. It's kind of off a bootleg, but Brady doesn't come back. He just throws the ball back to Caldwell. He fakes the run to the right and then comes back and throws it to Caldwell, standing on the line of scrimmage on the left.
On first down, here is Maroney, and the reason I say Caldwell has a chance to become a star is when you think of the Patriots. We talked about Deion Branch, contract dispute. Then he was able to effect a trade to Seattle. We'll see him next week. They let David Givens go. He went to Tennessee. So Brady is operating without his 2 top guys from last season.
Yeah, and that's the other reason that Caldwell has a chance to become a star, if he can, is Tom Brady's his quarterback. And I don't know that it gets a heck of a lot better in this league than that. 2nd
down and 10. Brady already 3 Super Bowl rings and 2 Super Bowl MVP trophies. And that's Brown breaking out of a tackle. Wilson couldn't get him down, and then Lynch comes in to knock him to the turf at the 36-yard line. Last year, and New England did not win the Super Bowl after going into the season with 3 in 4 years, but he was the leading passer in the league. And right now they come up to the line of scrimmage without a huddle.
Timeout,
and
their first.
A timeout is taken here by the Denver Broncos. So they went to the hurry up here on 3rd down and 5, and Denver calls a halt to it. Tune in tomorrow night. Ordinary people will discover extraordinary abilities. The show that has everyone talking. It's called Heroes. Monday night on NBC, 9 Eastern and Pacific, 8 Central and Mountain Time. Massachusetts State Capitol in Boston. Denver had to take a timeout because Belichick decided to go no huddle for the first time on 3rd down and 5. So Denver had to regroup. Now out of the shotgun. Brady retreats after taking the snap and fires over the middle, and Lynch almost intercepts it. the venerable John Lynch, and they say he's in better shape and playing as well as he's ever played in his 14th season out of Stanford. Of course, a longtime Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Yeah, and he's still upset that he didn't get that one. I mean, John Lynch is playing as well as he has played in a long time, and he looks like he just has new life in everything that he does. You know, a few years ago when he left Tampa, you know, people thought that maybe he was through. He had that neck operation, and then he's come out and just gotten better and better.
His opposite number, almost the same sort of situation, Rodney Harrison out of San Diego, then comes here, and Miller's punt is touched and batted back well inside the 5-yard line and downed there. So now Denver will start its drive from deep in its own territory with 4.5 to go in the opening period. No score in New England. Jake Plummer, now in his 4th season with Denver, started his career with the Arizona Cardinals, 6 years there, 10th year in the league. Played his college football at Arizona State and begins this drive from deep in his own territory at his own 5-yard line. First down, 4.5 to go in the period. Tatum Bell on the ground, going nowhere. He's tackled there by Ty Warren. Last year, Denver, similar to this year, lost on opening day, then had to come from behind to beat San Diego. But there is the comparison. Last year, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions in the first couple of games. This year, no touchdowns and 4 picks, 3 on opening day. But over the last 14 games last year, 17 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And they won 12 of the last 14 with him at the helm.
Yeah, and Mike Shanahan is hoping he still has that in him.
2nd and 10, and this is Bell. And bunched up again. So he probed the right side, then he probed the left side. Nothing doing. They'll give him a 1-yard gain there. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
You know, the other thing that was bunched up is that Patriot defense. There was about 8 of them in on that tackle. You just see, you know, Junior Seau, that you know, he may not be what he used to be, but with these 2 inside linebackers, Junior Seau and Teddy Bruschi, they are going to get to a lot of plays and make a lot of tackles. It's interesting, last week the Patriots used all 4-man line. This week, all 3-man defensive line.
Seau in his 17th season. Bruschi in his 11th. Plummer out of the shotgun. Has to step away and runs for his life and may even get the first down. And Jake Plummer, who's been doing that since going back to high school, and in college he was a tremendous runner as well as passer at Arizona State. In fact, he almost single-handedly won a Rose Bowl game against Ohio State, which would have given them a national championship with a phenomenal run. First down.
You know, the Broncos had a pass protection, and I really don't like is when you bring a back and he has to come across and get a linebacker coming from the outside. I think Vrabel coming from the outside distracted Plummer, and that flushed him out to the left. And then, as you say, the way Jake can run, that got him a first down.
Up at the 17-yard line. 2:35 remaining in the opening period. Over the middle, and that is dropped. That is Tatum Bell. And again, we're talking about Tatum Bell and Mike Shanahan, not alternating series as he did earlier in the first 2 games with Tatum Bell and Mike Bell. It's been Tatum all the way, who's carried for 6 times, caught 1, and just dropped that last one.
You know, Mike Shanahan likes to throw on first down against a 3-man line. He said sometimes they're tough to run on, but when you get guys playing 2-gap, which a 3-man line has to, they're really not big pass rushers, so you're going to have time to throw. Now, obviously, you don't want the incomplete because then you end up 2nd and long, and now you're going to get a different defense, and they're going to come after you.
And that's what he has right now. He's got 2nd down and 10. And this is Tatum Bell, and he is explosive out past the 30 to the 38-yard line. The one thing about Bell, now in his 3rd year in the league, is he can break the long one. His average per carry over the first 2 years, he's scintillating 5.3.
Look at that, the 2 helmets are caught up out there. But here's the zone blocking here. You just get everyone, all the line just moves to the right. Tatum Bell gets right in behind them looking for the crack. Look at this. Now they both have to take them up. Okay, Will Fork says, I'll take mine off. Okay, I'll take mine off. And then we need an official in this deal. Well, it's tough being an offensive and defensive lineman. You never know what's going to get caught up in you.
I bet you somebody's got a still of that that's going to wind up on each guy's mantle through the years. From the 38-yard line, here is Mike Bell, and this is the free agent rookie who played 4 seasons at the University of Arizona. And a rare guy in the sense that in college these days, first of all, you rarely see a guy play all 4 years, and you almost never see a guy lead his team in rushing in each of those years, but that was the case with Bell in Tucson.
And the other question you have to ask is, why wasn't he drafted? I mean, if he did all those things, he had college numbers. I guess the thing that they said about him is, one, he didn't play for a very good team, and two, that he was just a straight line guy. But you know, that's what the Denver Broncos look for in their running game is, you know, you take one move and take it straight downhill.
2nd down and 6 from the 42-yard line. Plummer forced out, throws it away. Let's go to Andrea Kramer.
Well, it's exactly what John just said in terms of Mike Bell running a similar offense in college. He said he was used to that one cut and head downhill style. Now, as an undrafted rookie out of Arizona, he had his choice of teams. He actually picked the Broncos not only because of their history of success with running backs, but he was also a big Terrell Davis fan growing up. And he said the thing that's most challenging for him splitting carries with Tatum Bell is that it just takes some reps to get into sync with his offensive line.
I mean, Shanahan in that system, they can make a free agent or a low draft choice to start. Terrell Davis, 6th round. 3rd down and 6, 42-yard line. Plummer rolling, feels the pressure, throws deep downfield, nobody home there. But he avoids the sack, and in comes the punting unit.
You know, and that's the thing that a running back has to do, and we can talk about, you know, both these Bells running the ball and being able to do this, but when you get 3rd down, you have to pass protect. And that time, Mike Vrabel just went right by or around or through Tatum Bell.
Paul Ernster, who was the kickoff man for Denver before he got hurt at the start of last season, now in his 2nd year out of northern Arizona. The booming kick. Kevin Falk's going to take it from the 10. Run it back to the 19-yard line, tackled there by Lewis Green. We started to talk about Brady before, and then they went to the hurry-up. So just to finish that, last year Brady led the league, 4,110 passing yards, and there were his 2 top guys. They're both gone. Branch now in Seattle, Givens now in Tennessee. He's only the 3rd player in history to lose his top 2 receivers in a season after leading the league in passing yards, and one of the other 2 would have been Dan Marino, who lost the Marx brothers, Duper and Clayton, one season after he was throwing to them as the regular guys. Now Brady's going to throw, and that's caught out here by Maroney, and Maroney's going to pick up the 1st down, the rookie out of Minnesota.
You know, on one hand, you can say that, you know, it's a system and Tom Brady and he just throws to the open guy. But on the other hand, you wonder, how can you have Tom Brady, one of the top quarterbacks in football, and take away his 2 top receivers?
And, you know, a lot of fans are saying, well, wait a second, you're way under the salary cap, and New England is. They may be more under than any team in the league. And the fans would be really going crazy if it wasn't for the track record here. This is Lawrence Maroney to the 32. If you were the type of team that was always under and you didn't sign your guys, the fans would go wild. But you know what? You got to say, wait a second. These guys, well, I guess they know what they're doing. They won 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years.
Yeah, they have, but they have affected Tom Brady with losing Deion Branch, too.
No doubt about it. End of 1. Denver nothing, New England nothing. Sunday Night Football back after these messages.
Whatever the Patriots embodied, the hard work, the commitment, the dedication, being clean on and off the field, he embodied all those things. And we miss him, but he moved on, so we have to move on.
We were talking about the salary cap and the fact they didn't sign Deion Branch, and that was Rodney Harrison talking about him. But, you know, New England through the years, players go, some come, but for the most part, and again, you can't knock success. But as John said, you know, if you're Tom Brady, you want to have Branch and or Givens back, and he has neither. Start the 2nd period. with Maroney making the catch, and he is taken down here by D.J. Williams. And John, they lost 6 guys, the Patriots did, who were starters last year, and Adam Vinatieri as well, and picked up nobody else's regular, not one regular starter from another team.
Right, and the Deion Branch thing really affected Tom Brady emotionally. In fact, he said after the first game that he was still affected playing that game, and and he'll get over it. But that's the thing, that he does lose his 2 guys, but say you have a quarterback like him, you better give him the ammunition.
3rd down and 7. Let's see who the ammunition is here. Brady looking downfield. Who's going to get open? He finds the open man, and that is Caldwell making the catch in Denver territory to the 45-yard line. So good protection, plenty of patience on the part of Brady. Waited for Caldwell to break free. 1st down.
I think one of the underrated things about this Patriot offense is their offensive line. They are very good. The Patriots are going to no huddle. Bill Belichick told me about this. He said he wants to keep those same defensive linemen on the field for pass rush.
At the 45-yard line, and that's a good way to get those guys gassed. Keeping them on the field from the 45-yard line. The Minnesota rookie, Maroney, gets hit first by Engelberger and then taken down after a gain of maybe 1.5.
Yeah, that's what he was thinking on that 3rd down play. Don't let him get off. And then when he gets a 1st down, he wants those same guys to have to play. Although the Broncos did get a substitution in here. But here's the guys he's trying to affect, the defensive line of the Broncos with no huddle.
No huddle, 2nd down 8 from the 43-yard line. Maroney again to the weak side. To the 38-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Got by Darren Williams there. 2 minutes into the 2nd quarter. No score.
And that's Darren Williams' play, too. There's, anytime you have those corners up, and if you run to that side, they have force. Again, no huddle.
3rd and 3 at the 38-yard line. New England's gained 84 yards in the game. Denver 82. Maroney on the ground gets tripped up. Good tackle there by Myers. You look at that defensive front for Denver. They're all ex-Cleveland Browns, including Myers.
And 4th down, what do you think is going to happen here?
36-yard line.
I think they go for it. I mean, Bill Belichick is as aggressive on offense as he is on defense, and he's as aggressive on offense as Mike Shanahan is on offense.
Well, they would at least line up to go for it.
They got 3 tight ends and 2 backs are in formation to go for it.
Maroney is the tailback. They're going to give it to him, and the rookie will not get the 1st down. He does not get the 1st down. They lined Heath Evans up as the fullback in the backfield. They called Maroney's number again, and now Denver will get the ball with good field position. 12:03 to the half. NBC's Sunday Night Football is being brought to you by Ask.com. Search better on Ask. By FedEx. For more football fun, go to FedExFootball.com. By Lincoln, reach higher. And by McDonald's. Al Michaels with John Madden, Andrea Kramer, Foxborough, Massachusetts. Again, Chris Sims, the quarterback with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, after their loss to Carolina today, taken to the hospital, had his spleen removed, had a blood transfusion, but according to Chris's mother, is not in danger. However, he will be in the hospital for several days, and a further update coming your way at halftime on Football Night in America.
And as you said earlier, we wish Chris Sims and the whole Sims family the best.
Plummer on 1st down, deep downfield, and intended for Rod Smith, and the pass is incomplete. Coverage on the play, and it's Asante Samuel might have gotten a hand on it. 2nd down.
Again, this is the thing that Mike Shanahan likes to do. It's not throwing so much on 1st down, is not getting a big pass rush on 1st down. And you can see again, because they play that 3-man line, because they do 2-gap, where each defensive lineman has gap responsibility to either side. They don't get a big push or pass rush on the quarterback on running downs.
Plummer was 3 for his first 3. And he's now 0 for his last 7. Patriots take a timeout. No score.
Touchdown, Green Bay Packers, 75 yards.
NFL record for consecutive completions.
Palmer will play action. Yeah. Red zone, P.J. Hushmanzada, touchdown.
Cincy over Pittsburgh. Bengals at 3-0. Mark Brunell, we saw him last week, and it was almost like a quarterback controversy was going to start in Washington. So all Brunell does today is he goes out and he completes his first 22 passes against Houston.
That was amazing. I mean, you talk about a bounce back. That was a big, big bounce back.
Denver now 2nd and 10 after the New England timeout. Plummer swings it out here, juggled, caught by Cecil Sapp, the fullback, up to the 40-yard line. Some of the other Sunday buzz, week 3 in the NFL. As we say, Mark Brunell with 22 straight completions right out of the blocks. And Brett Favre, big day there, the win against Detroit, 400 career touchdown pass. 31-24 Green Bay. Jets win 28-20 over Buffalo.
And the buzz in this stadium is for their defense on 3rd down. They've been playing them in this nickel package and blitzing them each time, and I would expect or anticipate the same thing here.
The buzz was so buzzardly that Plummer has to take a timeout. His second. Well, we talked about it before, that Chicago game. You know, I love the way, I mean, Grossman throws a terrible pass, gets intercepted, looks like it's going to cost him the game. Then they get a break on the fumble by Minnesota, come back and win it. And Chicago, if nothing else, very resilient.
Yeah, and Chicago needs a quarterback. I mean, you know, they need Grossman to play well and be the real guy. I mean, it's been so long since they've had a real guy for a long period of time. I mean, Jim McMahon did it for a while. Before that, it's probably Sid Luckman or someone. But, it seems like Chicago, great defense. We'd knock the heck out of you, but, you know, we need a quarterback. And if Grossman is that guy, Chicago could be a very interesting team.
And don't forget, I mean, last year Chicago, with no offense to speak of, were good enough not only to get to the playoffs, but they had a bye. They were the 2nd seed. And next week it'll be Chicago and Seattle. It's the Sunday night game.
Well, we're talking about Seattle. I mean, early in that game against the Giants, where were they explosive?
3rd down and 7, and the catch is made along the sideline by David Kirkus before he is forced out of bounds by Asante Samuel. So after they take the timeout, it will be a 1st down for Denver at the New England 48-yard line.
You know, if you say who's the fastest of the Denver Bronco wide receivers, it's this guy right here, Kirkus. And he not only looks like the fastest, he looks like the quickest. But when you can make a move like that and not lose any speed in doing it, you will usually be open.
Came over from Detroit as a free agent. He played sparingly for 2 years with the Lions. 1st down at the 48-yard line. Plummer buys time. Under pressure now. Throws over the middle, and the catch is made by David Kirkus. But there is a flag down, and it may be for hitting Plummer as Ty Warren got in there. Here's Austin. It is.
Roughing the passer. 94 defense.
I'll tell you one thing, they can
from the end of the play.
They can boo Plummer and all those things they want to, but he is one thing. He is a tough guy. I mean, he does a play-action pass, comes out of it. He's getting a push there by Ty Warren, but he stands in there and said, you see the play action? Now he has to wait for a while and just step in and make that perfect throw. I'll tell you, he put a lot of mustard on that thing too. You talk about, you know, quarterbacks and they're the glamour position and all that. They're also some of the toughest guys. Jake Plummer's a tough guy, and the guy on the other side, Tom Brady, one of the toughest guys in the game.
Plummer rarely injured. He started all 16 games in 4 of the last 5 seasons. From the 12 after the penalty, pressure on. Plummer gets it away, and the pass is incomplete, and the heat was really on that time.
You know, that's what they don't let him do. I mean, that's the thing that Jake Plummer loves to do and probably does better than anything else he does. And that's bootleg, but the Patriots know that, and they're going to play it. Watch Roosevelt Colvin there. Instead of going down the field, he sees the fake. He sees that he didn't hand off, and he gets up the field and puts the pressure on the bootleg on Jake Plummer.
Patriots were a little frosted. They wanted grounding. 2nd down and 10 from the 12. Tatum Bell, he gets tripped up as he crosses the 10-yard line. Line of scrimmage will be the 8. That's Rodney Harrison coming up to make the tackle.
You know, that's where the Broncos get you. If you want to keep that end man in the line of scrimmage out there for the bootleg, then they'll just hand the ball and run inside him. if they want to squeeze him down to squeeze the run on that side, then they'll fake to him and bootleg around him. So they kind of have a three-way go: play side, cut back, backside run, or backside bootleg.
Played 20 minutes, no score, 3rd and 6 from the 8-yard line. Plummer over the middle. That's caught by Smith, and he should have a first down, and that's going to set up a 1st and goal at the 2-yard line. Head linesman comes in, puts the ball right on the 2-yard line. Wilson makes the tackle, and again, Denver coming into the game with just with 1 touchdown all season.
And that was a 3rd down play, and Mike Shanahan was saying last night that he talked to Jake Plummer, and he said a quarterback in this league makes money by being successful on 3rd down. That was a big 3rd down completion for Jake Plummer.
I say all season, of course, it's 2 games plus about a 1/3 of this one. Nonetheless, just 1 time have they been into the end zone. Will it be 2? Not on this play, it won't, but there's a flag. Ty Warren makes the tackle on Tatum Bell.
You know, there's an underrated guy. You talk about this Patriot defense, and you talk about the linebackers and Vince Wilfork and Richard Seymour, the defensive lineman. You don't mention Ty Warren very often, but he plays very, very well.
Ooh, that's Tom Nalen, who comes home and away when he plays in Foxborough. Played his college football at Boston College, 13th year in the league.
You're going to see him right here, and you're going to see him against Vince Wilfork, and he's one of the guys that makes the play, and maybe that's why. All he tried to do was, take him on that side and just push him to the ground instead of blocking him. That's what the Broncos will do, though. I mean, they're the smallest offensive line in football, and they will at times try and finesse you, and when they try and finesse you, they will allow penetration.
Nalen not only from BC, but is from Foxborough itself, the town in which the stadium is located. And Ty Warren makes the tackle on Tatum Bell again here.
You say Ty Warren's making so many plays on that side to Mike Shanahan. Why don't you go to the other side? Well, I'll tell you why. Because on the other side is Richard Seymour, and that's no bargain there. I mean, you're running from a guy that I was just saying is kind of underrated. You're running into Seymour, who would be one of their best defensive players.
Seymour's played in 4 straight Pro Bowls. And he is the kind of guy you do empty the vault for. He and Brady. 2nd down and goal at the 11-yard line. Off the fake. Look out. Plummer gets hit as he throws, and the pass is incomplete. And that's Roosevelt Coleman, who came over a couple of years ago from the Chicago Bears, who comes in unblocked.
You wonder how that can happen, because you know that it's going to be one of those outside linebackers, either Mike Vrabel or Roosevelt Colvin, and you just see him outside and they go play action to the right, the back goes to the right. I would think that the line would then have to slide left, and that would be the responsibility of the left tackle. But you can't have the back and everyone go right and your line also go right.
3rd down and goal now. It was 1st and goal at the 2. 3rd and goal from the 11. Plummer throws on the slant. That's Smith, but he'll only get to the 5. Eugene Wilson makes the tackle. So again, the Denver Broncos cannot penetrate the goal line. Their only touchdown of the game came on opening day against St. Louis, but in that game they gave up 6 field goals and the Rams won at 18-10.
In the red zone, you have to be able to run the ball, and you can't have penalties. You say what killed the Broncos on that drive? It was Tom Nalen's penalty for holding.
Jason Elam, for years, one of the very best at altitude or not at altitude. Chip shot, 23-yarder. Plummer will hold, and the kick is good. And so the Denver Broncos are first on the board. 7:25 to go. First half, 3-0 Denver at New England. So what's up with Jay Leno this week? He's got Jessica Simpson. He's got Hollywoodland's Adrian Brody, Evangeline Lilly, and Ashton Kutcher. All new with Jay on the Tonight Show this week right here on NBC. Beautiful shot of downtown Boston. 3-0. Shanahan and Plummer had a fairly spirited discussion on the sideline.
It was a long discussion. I think they were either talking about someone that Shanahan thought was open and Plummer didn't see, or maybe a pass protection call.
The rookie Maroney runs back the kick to the 21-yard line. St. Brandon makes the tackle there. 7:20 left in the opening half. Jake and Mike. 3-0 Denver. The Denver defense pitching a touchdown shutout thus far in the 2 games plus a quarter and a half. No touchdowns allowed. 25 possessions. New England starts this one from the 21-yard line. The running back here is Corey Dillon. He takes the little toss and then cuts it back and picks up a couple to the 23. Larry Coyer would be one of the more unknown assistants in the league, but right now Larry Coyer is the guy, and there he is, longtime assistant coach, been around a lot of years in college and in the pros, and doing a pretty magnificent job to this point.
Well, last night he was upset about his team not tackling well, and I think, so far they have tackled well tonight. I think Al Wilson, the middle linebacker, is playing better. I watched him last week, and Al Wilson didn't look like Al Wilson for whatever reason, but he's back in there tonight. Those 2 inside tackles are playing well, and that triangle, they have a 4-man line, the Broncos, of the 2 defensive tackles and the middle linebacker are playing very well.
Well, this is a major concern now to Bill Belichick. That's the left tackle, Matt Light, in his 6th year. A cog, of course, on the offensive front, and a guy who missed some practice time earlier this week.
You can see his left knee got caught up in there, and he missed some practice. In fact, he was, they weren't sure on Friday if he was going to be able to play tonight.
So now Wesley Britt, first-year guy out of Alabama, is the guy who takes over at left tackle on 2nd down and 8. And the pass is to the right side to Daniel Graham. He and Watson form a great tight end tandem. And meanwhile, the New England Patriots with 3rd and short here, playing with 2 young tackles. One, O'Callahan, is a rookie. The other, Britt, first-year guy, played his college ball at Alabama, 6'8", 320 pounds.
How do you feel if you're Tom Brady and you look out there and say, man, here they take my 2 wide receivers away from me, and then they give me 2 rookie tackles and say go win the game?
Yeah, apart from that, no problem. And now it's Evans, the fullback, who tries to tunnel his way for a 1st down and does.
One of the things we talked about this earlier, without the wide receivers and making a change there, that I thought they would throw more to the backs, throw more to the tight end, and do a better job of running. But that's where the Bronco defense has really played well. They really played well against the run, and the Patriots only have about 25 yards of rushing.
Patriots right now exactly 26 yards on the ground on 13 rushes, so that's 2 yards per carry. And Brady throws, and that is caught across the 50-yard line by Benjamin Watson, who's become his money guy.
And he's a good-looking player. I mean, when you watch Benjamin Watson, practice and just run around, he is a great-looking athlete. And you're going to see he's right there at the end of the line of scrimmage there, and they get a bunch. They have, the outside goes in, and he goes to the outside. Brady finally found him. Watching him in practice the other day, he threw a heck of a lot of passes to Ben Watson.
1st and 10 now at the 50. 5 minutes to go in the half. A fake trickery to Brown on the end around, and then a middle screen. And Maroney breaks away from a couple of tackles, and the rookie from Minnesota takes it inside the 20 to the 19 on a 31-yard gain before he's finally forced down by Darren Williams.
And that's exactly what Maroney gives you. We were talking about that when he gets the ball, he's always capable of taking it 30 or 40 yards on any play. He does it there. You see he's a single back, and they fake to him first, and they fake the reverse, then they come back and throw him a screen. So it was a fake run, a fake reverse, screen to the right, and then the rest of it from the screen on was just Lawrence Maroney.
Now Wilson had a chance to tackle him and couldn't. Ball at the 19-yard line. Good play fake. Brady buys time, but the secondary does its work. Now he gets chased and throws against the grain, and the pass is caught. It's caught by Daniel Graham. And that's close to a 1st down, right on the yellow stripe. They'll have to take a look.
And again, he's going no huddle. He's getting right up there and going to snap the ball before they get a chance. Oop. Whistle just blew.
Well, either it's going to blow for a challenge or it's going to blow because they need to measure.
No, I think it was a challenge. I think the Patriots were trying to get up there and get it snapped before the Broncos had a chance to challenge.
Austin's going to come over, and there it is. There's the challenge flag thrown by Mike Shanahan.
He didn't throw it very far, did he?
No.
Denver's challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass.
That's right. You would have thought everybody would have learned
with the
after opening night with Nick Saban. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wimpy throw. But the thing is, you notice on one play, he goes to Ben Watson, then he comes back on the other play and goes right here to Daniel Graham, his tight end, both times. That doesn't look like a completion,
It's
does
not.
it?
They will win the challenge. I'm giving odds of 97-3.
Yeah, I am too.
97.4 to 2.6.
I remember Daniel Graham's dad when he played for the Denver Broncos, Tom Graham. Daniel Graham grew up in Denver and was a fan of the Broncos. Of course, you're a fan where your dad plays. Went to the University of Colorado. Almost had one here, didn't get it. But the Patriots, really have two starting tight ends. I mean, Watson is one of them, and Graham is the other one. And they've kind of become Tom Brady's favorite receivers.
I think Shanahan is going to win this
After
one, which is nothing
play,
new.
The pass is incomplete. It skips into the receiver and is on the ground. It'll be second down and 10 at the 19.
Mike Shanahan
Denver is not charged with a timeout.
Last year, he used 17 challenges. He won 10, which is a tremendous percentage. No other head coach in the league last year used more than 7 challenges. So Mike was 17, and he's off to a good start this year as well.
That means he has someone upstairs who's pretty good.
Yeah.
Or that he trusts and relies on, because you can't see a darn thing from down there. I mean, there's no way that Mike Shanahan on this sideline could have seen that over there.
That's a great point. Sometimes that's where it goes through the cracks with teams. Second down and 10, and the pass here is incomplete. And let's check in with Andrea Kramer.
Well, Corey Dillon went into the locker room with what the Patriots are saying is an arm injury. He's probable for his return. They had been massaging his right arm on the sidelines. Now, as for Matt Light, we are still awaiting news on his potential injury.
All right, thank you, Andrea. Dillon carried 5 times for 16 yards, but now it's been Maroney, and he was able to break away with that 31-yard reception. Big 3rd and 10 at the 19-yard line. And third down, Kevin Falk normally in the game, and there he is 33, side by side with Brady. Brady to the end zone, and nothing happening there as the pattern was cut off on the 5-yard line by Daniel Graham. The pressure that time put on by Chukwara, who is a pass rush specialist, number 54.
Yeah, and then the Broncos went with their nickel defense, 5 defensive backs, but instead of having the 3rd corner in there, they had a 3rd safety in there, Sam Brandon, and that's because the Patriots weren't 2 tight ends.
Steven Gostkowski, again, the first K is silent. That's a tough name to say. 37-yard field goal attempt to try to tie the game. And the 4th-round draft choice has it blocked. And so the Denver Broncos stop him, block the field goal.
Boy, and that's where the field is bad, Alan. It looked like he didn't get his plant foot down. I mean, that middle of the field there where they play soccer and stuff is just painted dirt out there. And it just looked like something went awry right when he went to kick it. You see he's kicking from that dirt there, and see if his plant foot doesn't slip. Yeah, it does. I don't know, I'm making an excuse for him, but it did look like, he didn't get a good plant there.
DJ Williams is the man who blocks it.
Yeah. You see that left foot when he went to plant it, it just slid right beyond the ball.
Well, Gostkowski last week had a chance with a chip shot field goal at the end of the Jets game to seal that and had that one blocked. And the Jets had the ball at the end of the game. New England able to hold them off.
Well, where's Adam Vinatieri?
Where's Adam Vinatieri, exactly. And this is Tatum Bell. And all of a sudden, the Denver Broncos being pushed back deep into their own territory, blocked the field goal, and now they're out to midfield as the half winds down. 3.5 to the half. 19-yard gain.
I think everyone has to like that decision of taking Tatum Bell and saying he is going to be our back, because we talked about Maroney and how he can explode and make big yardage. Tatum Bell can also do that. It was an interesting run. The first guy to touch him was his safety, Eugene Wilson. He went right by the defensive line and linebacker.
There's Bell averaging 6 yards a carry. Again, he came in for 2 years, career average 5.3. Only a couple here.
That time they brought Eugene Wilson up and they blitzed him. He's quite a guy. I mean, he can do everything. He can play back as a safety. He can come up at the line and blitz. And then if you need a third corner, he can move from safety and play that corner position.
Seems like everybody on New England's defense can play anywhere.
And that's the way they coach him. That's the way they teach him, and that's probably the way they draft him and sign him.
2nd down and 8 from the 48. Plummer. And that one is incomplete over the middle. Junior Seau saying that was legal. I was on top of him, but legal. Cecil Sapp, the intended receiver. Junior Seau, of course, was San Diego for a lot of years, then to Miami. Then it looked like he was going to retire, but here he is in his 17th season.
Yeah, and it's a perfect fit right here. You know, I mean, he may have gotten there a little early on that play, but Junior Seau doesn't have to come in here and be the dominant guy. He just has to fit in. He has to be the smart guy, and he fits in very well with Teddy Bruschi as an inside linebacker.
3rd down and 8. Plummer swings it to the outside, and Rod Smith makes the catch. Rod Smith, 12th year, went to Missouri Southern. Story pretty well known. Undrafted. But through the years, he has been tremendous, and he's one of those guys who will get a lot of Hall of Fame consideration.
You know, isn't it sometimes refreshing to see a guy like that who's a wide receiver and just plays football? I mean, he doesn't go through, you know, all the things. I mean, he's not running and throwing things and doing dances and, you know, fighting with people. I mean, he just comes out there and just plays the game and plays it as well as anyone.
Just goes to work. 2-minute warning. Denver 3, New England nothing. Neither team has a touchdown tonight. That's the quarterback comparison for you. Brady with a 90.4 rating had that 31-yarder to Maroney. Plummer a little under 50%, throwing for 95 yards. And with 2 minutes to go, Plummer's going to hand the ball off to Tatum Bell. Bell will be stopped at the 34-yard line. And that will make it 2nd down and 3 at the 34-yard line. 1 timeout for Denver.
You know, we talk about this Bronco offensive line being the smallest in the NFL, but they're doing a good job. I mean, we haven't heard, you know, Seymour's name mentioned a lot. We haven't heard, you know, Bruschi. We haven't heard, you know, Vrabel or Colvin make a lot of plays lately. They are getting blocked.
They're all under 300 pounds except for the right tackle, Foster, at 338. Now you got Bell getting down to the 32-yard line.
I was just saying you hadn't heard much about Seymour. Yeah. Maybe they'd been running away from him, and that time they decided, well, we hadn't heard much from Seymour. Let's see if we can run in there. Let's test old Richard Seymour out, and they did, and they got whopped.
Denver's in a position right now. New England can't take a timeout defensively. They have 2 timeouts remaining, but they're in a situation here where Denver can do a little clock milking. They've got a timeout left, and if they don't pick up the first down, at least leave New England with not much time. And on 3rd and short, Plummer goes deep, and the ball is caught in the end zone by Javon Walker. How about that call on a 3rd down and 1? Walker, who left the Packers, he was hurt on opening day last year. He was disgruntled in Green Bay. He is picked up by Denver. New England took a look at him as well, and Javon Walker, who made a big catch in the overtime drive that led to the game-winning field goal last week against Kansas City, stuns and silences this huge crowd.
Right, he had man-to-man coverage out there against Ellis Hobbs, and Jake Plummer was telling us last night, if I can ever get him man-to-man, I'll just throw the ball up there and he'll go get it.
Elam for the point after. Boy, what a call that is. I mean, you're in a position where you're thinking about, if nothing else, get the first down, use a timeout, maybe set up a field goal. And Shanahan, well, you know, it's leave it to Mike.
That's Mike Shanahan. He doesn't have any fear. He's not afraid to make a call. He's not afraid to make a decision. Jake Plummer makes a perfect throw. And then you look at the other part of it, protection. The Patriots are coming on a blitz. Good pickup there, giving Jake time to look out there, find it, and throw the ball up to Javon Walker. He decided right away when he saw one-on-one And when he saw Ellis Hobbs out there, he knew exactly where he was going.
50 seconds remaining on a 3rd and 1, a 32-yard pass and catch.
Boy, did that quiet this place down, didn't it?
I've never heard a sound go off like that. Like
You've never heard anything this quiet?
Well, I've heard things this quiet.
No, but this is a full house. This is a quiet full house, and you know that'll do it. I mean, a play like that. I mean, you can run the ball and gain a little. You can throw a short pass, but you throw a deep one into the end zone. That'll make guys look like that.
Yeah. It's like you're in a room with very thick walls.
That's what Bill Belichick was worried about. You know, he said they always get big plays against them.
Got a flag down for an offside on the kickoff, and this is Maroney to the 28-yard line. So the flag is for offside against Denver. Meanwhile, Plummer just threw his first touchdown pass of the season. The time remaining is 43 seconds. New England has 2 timeouts.
I wonder if they're telling them they're sorry now. You know, about a half hour, everyone was yelling at Plummer and arguing, fighting.
5 yards from the end of the run. First down.
But will you love me tomorrow?
They do now.
Yeah, again, the gang is in New York. Toyota halftime show. The report on Chris Sims, the Tampa Bay quarterback who was hospitalized and had his spleen removed. Matt Light, meanwhile, is back in, so that's good news for New England. The left tackle returns with the ball to the 33-yard line. From the shotgun. Brady protected well, and the pass is a little high, intended for Rashay Caldwell. 2nd down.
Yeah, you wonder if they're going to go back to work on Foxworth again. You know, that was one of their plans before, is any time that the Broncos would go nickel, they'd find where number 22 is, and he's in the slot, and then they'd go to work on him. And as we said earlier, they're always going to stay away from Champ Bailey.
2nd and 10, and that is caught, and that'll be a first down, and Belichick has to take a timeout. He's right there because Caldwell could not get out of bounds, so the clock would have continued to run, but Bill was right there on the sideline right next to the play, and they take their 2nd timeout.
One thing I'll say about Caldwell, he keeps his eyes open.
Doesn't he? He's huge eyes. 1 timeout remaining. 10-0 is the score. Jake Plummer, there are his numbers. The touchdown pass to Javon Walker. Meanwhile, Tatum Bell has carried the ball 13 times for 70 yards, and that Denver defense holding Maroney in check on the ground and holding New England to no points. 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line.
Tom Brady doesn't look like he has a lot of life in him tonight, does he?
Not as much as normal.
I mean, he's cool. I mean, he's going to be a cool guy, but looks like a lot of life.
Well, all of a sudden, he throws into some traffic. A little life on that one, but Benjamin Watson was thoroughly covered. 2nd and 10. Nick Ferguson and John Lynch too deep.
You know, and what the Broncos are doing is they're just stuffing the run, you know, and not giving them any place to run in the middle, and then, you know, making them bounce to the outside. And then their corners are good tacklers, you know, forcing them into pass situations and making them throw to his inside receivers. And, you know, they have Champ Bailey down here, and they aren't going to throw anything out here to Champ Bailey's side.
Just going to say, when you look at Bailey, one reason we don't talk about him, they don't go to him. They don't go that way. Falk makes the catch underneath, but the tackle is made there by Ian Gold inbounds, and that's going to compel New England to take another timeout, their final 1.
You know, it's interesting, Al, just kind of watch Tom Brady. Champ Bailey is out here to his right. He doesn't even look to his right. I mean, he'll look to the middle and he'll look to the left. He doesn't even look out here where Champ Bailey is.
You know, the term shutdown corner is sort of out of vogue. Guys don't like to be known as shutdown corners. The media has overused it. But that's what he is in a situation like this.
Yeah, especially against the Patriots. They are going to stay away from him. And the reason that, you know, they don't like to be called shutdown corners is that usually means that they're a good cover guy that can't tackle. And Champ Bailey, you know, he gets so little play or so little passes thrown towards his area that he really prides himself on being a tackler against the run.
I mean, even Deion Sanders would bristle with that. 3rd down and 6, the ball at the 50-yard line. Brady on a little roll, looking back the other way, and nobody is home there. Denver wants a flag. The pressure was put on by Chukwara that time. Brady was, I believe, out of the pocket. He had to throw it at least back toward the line of scrimmage. Now there is a flag that comes in at the end. Austin says, hold it.
I think they tackled Kevin Falk. I think Chukwara, tackled him. He was going to be the screen guy. So he was trying to roll out to his right and throw a screen back here. And you see Chukwara, he starts to grab him. And I think that's exactly what Tom Brady's pointing to. He said, look, they grabbed my guy. They held the guy I was trying to throw to.
Offensive pass interference, number 87. 10 yards, replay, 3rd down.
And Caldwell.
So they took the Denver side of that. They didn't take the Patriots side.
Sure did. Brady's real excited about that call.
Well, that's a tough thing. When you see a back coming at you, you can take him on or you can tackle him if you think he has the ball, but you can't grab him and holding him. Seems like Caldwell, yeah, he was going down there to block is exactly what he was doing. He thought by now the screen should be out of there, so I'm going down to block.
3rd and 17, Broncos.
Ooh, discombobulation.
I'll say, against the Denver defense, it's on the verge of not history necessarily, but doing something that's very rare. That's the way the half is going to end. Take a look at this. In the last 60 years, only 3 NFL teams have begun the season allowing no touchdowns in the first 10 quarters. The 2003 Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the 83 Buffalo Bills were the other. 10-0 Denver at the half. The gang coming up from New York on the Toyota Halftime Show after these messages from your local NBC station.
Welcome to the Toyota Halftime Show, brought to you by Toyota, moving forward.
And we're joined here by Sports Illustrated's Peter King as we begin the halftime report with an update on the circumstances surrounding the Tampa Bay quarterback Chris Sims, the 4th-year pro, son of former Giants Super Bowl winning quarterback Phil Sims. Really took a beating today in Tampa Bay in a game which the Buccaneers lost to Carolina 26-24, and he suffered a ruptured spleen, and we can't say for sure when during the game. All of these hits are pretty frightful, but we can't say for sure when it occurred. He was removed from the game. He was vomiting, he was dehydrated, he was wobbly, he had bruised ribs. He was taken out in the 3rd quarter, yet came back and led a scoring drive in the 4th quarter. Then after the game, he was taken by ambulance to a nearby hospital. Here is the statement. Chris Sims suffered an injury to his spleen during today's game, was taken to the hospital. He underwent a splenectomy this evening and is in stable condition. Chris is doing well. We anticipate a full recovery. That's the statement from Dr. Joe Diaco, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team physician. Okay, we're joined now, as I said, by Peter King. What else have you learned?
Well, Bob, according to Chris's mom, Diana, Chris had a blood transfusion as well. And one of the things that he's going to be doing in the next couple days simply is getting his head back on straight. He's got to just get some rest and get back to normal health, which he will regain. The question now is, when will he play football again? And he will play football again. But according to Bruce Allen, the general manager of the Bucs, just talked to him before halftime. He said, hey, we're not going to make any estimate on when he can play again until at least tomorrow. But we've talked to 2 physicians this evening, both of whom have said in a very physical job like this, it's going to be at least a 2 or 3 month recuperation and recovery period before Sims is ready to play football again.
So, in all likelihood, he is done for the season, but also it is extremely likely he'll be able to resume his career.
Well, again, 2 to 3 months. That could be December, but certainly he will be able to resume his football career.
And here is a question that will be asked, and we have no answer at this point. Was he allowed to go back in the game after he had sustained this injury? This we don't know.
We don't know about this, Bob. And one of the things Bruce Allen said is that, hey, he was hit in a brutal fashion on a play where roughing the quarterback was not called in the 4th quarter. So the Bucs right now do not know when this occurred.
Okay, J.P. Peterson of our Tampa affiliate WFLA is outside St. Joseph's Hospital in Tampa. What can you tell us, J.P.?
Well, earlier today, Michael Clayton, the Bucs wide receiver, told us that early on in the game, Chris was laboring to get some of the plays out, couldn't get through the plays. Michael asked him if he's going to be okay. Chris said, yeah, let's go. And, of course, he drove him down the field for a touchdown. So, at least according to Michael Clayton, early on, Chris was laboring. But, again, we don't know exactly when that injury occurred. Back to you.
JP, thanks very much. And coming up next, we'll bring you highlights from Week 3's key games, including an intense matchup in Pittsburgh between the Steelers and Bengals. We're back in 30 seconds with the games of the day. Well, there it is, my friends, the Golden Peacock, which is given each week to the player you vote as the player of the day. It's a landslide. Brett Favre leads the Packers to their first win of the season, throws for 340 yards and 3 touchdowns, passes 400 career touchdowns, second only to Dan Marino all time. So the Golden Peacock will go to Brett Favre. Let's look at some highlights from a few key games today. We'll begin at Pittsburgh. Big rivalry here. Carson Palmer and company looking for revenge after that playoff loss to Pittsburgh. The Steelers lead by 3 in the 4th. Cincinnati punts, and Ricardo Coakley will muff it. It'll be recovered by Cincinnati's Tony Stewart. Immediately after that, Palmer hits Houshmandzadeh, and Cincinnati is in front. Later, Pittsburgh fumbles on a play from scrimmage, and Palmer goes right back to Houshmandzadeh. Leaping, juggling catch for the touchdown. 4 TD throws for Palmer. Cincinnati wins it.
Let's go to San Francisco, where Philadelphia wanted revenge after that heartbreaking loss last week. Frank Gore is going to fumble the football, and all of a sudden, Mike Patterson's going to come out of the pile. We see this every week. Sterling, who's he look like?
The bus. No. He looks exactly like the bus.
He even cuts back like the bus. Watch this.
A very slow cut back. Look at that.
There he goes, and Philadelphia goes on to the route.
3 touchdowns for Brian Westbrook in that one. Not a good day for Eli Manning, especially early at Seattle. He was intercepted 3 times all told. The 2 picks will show you, both by Ken Hamlin. Eventually, Manning came back and threw for 3 touchdowns, but by then, the Giants were in a deep hole. Meanwhile, Matt Hasselbeck connected for 5 touchdown passes. Here's Bobby Engram. No one touches him. He just rolls in, and Seattle rolls at home 42-30 over the Giants. Chicago at Minnesota. Start of the 4th quarter. Rex Grossman. Ill-advised pass picked off by Antoine Winfield. Touchdown, Minnesota has the lead. But later on in the 4th, Brad Johnson and Chester Taylor will fumble the exchange on a hit by Tommy Harris. The Bears recover, and Grossman cashes in. Just under 2 minutes left. 24 yards to Rasheed Davis gives Chicago the win. Their first 3-0 start since 1991. And next Sunday, what do we have for you? Seattle, which scored 42 today and was the highest scoring team in the whole league last year against the Bears with that Monsters of the Midway defense at Soldier Field.
It's that old good versus evil. When you look at evil, it's the defense of the Chicago Bears, and it seems like now the Seattle Seahawks are getting their stride. So this is a road game for Seattle. They're going to get into Chicago on Friday. They're going to be very excited because this is a good litmus test to see where this football team is. The Chicago Bears eked out a win today versus the Minnesota Vikings. They have got to be reeling because Rex Grossman turned over the football. We saw what Seattle's defense does. They can turn you over as well.
All right, that's next Sunday. Immediately ahead, second half of tonight's game.
And I don't like what I'm seeing out of Tom Brady. You can see the body language. He looks down. I don't know if it's Deion Branch. But to some extent, this offense is getting exposed right now. The first 2 games, they were able to run the football. In this one, the running game is being shut down, and the passing game simply can't get it done right now.
Jerome.
Yeah, 14 carries, 33 yards. That's not getting it done. This isn't the 4,000-yard Tom Brady offense of last year. This is an offense that depends on running the football. They can't run the football, you're going to struggle.
Okay, lads, listen up because this will affect your travel plans for next summer. Tonight, the NFL announced the China Bowl, a preseason game next year in Beijing between the Patriots and Seahawks. It'll be the first time an NFL game will be played in the world's most populous nation. The game will be broadcast on NBC. It will take place on August 8th to mark the beginning of the 1-year countdown to the opening ceremony of the 2008 Beijing Olympics. The announcement was made by Commissioner Roger Goodell, along with Patriots owner Robert Kraft and Ren Jun, a Beijing sports representative. The China Bowl announcement is being noted at halftime in Foxborough tonight. And that ceremony includes an appearance by the 5 Friendlies, as they're called. They're the mascots of the Beijing Games, inspired by the 5 Olympic rings. The NFL is headed to China. Oh, look at them. Aren't they cute? The NFL is headed to China next summer. Patriots, Seahawks. You know, there's no bus to China. Madden can't make it. You're doing the game, Collinsworth. Get ready. And get ready for the second half from Foxborough after this.
This has been the Toyota Halftime Show, brought to you by Toyota, moving forward.
Last year was last year, and tonight is tonight.
We're playing the Patriots in their house on national TV, and great statement game for us.
I don't think it's necessarily a revenge factor, but tonight is just not another game.
I look forward to games like this. I played in a lot in my career and, made a lot of big plays.
We're 2-0, and we need to start putting teams behind us. Let's say the stars come out at night, so hopefully we'll shine.
This prime time is where it is. It's what it's all about.
Second half about to begin in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Andrea Kramer. The Denver Broncos on top 10-0 at the half. Again, the Broncos come in after losing to St. Louis on opening day, then beating Kansas City in overtime in a battle of field goals, 9-6. The Patriots have not been dominant in either of their games. Came from behind to beat Buffalo, held on to beat the Jets, but are still 2-0. However, Denver with other ideas, trying to go home to a bye week with a 2-1 record as the kick is taken by Lawrence Maroney at the 4-yard line, and Maroney gets it back up to the 28-yard line. To the field, and Andrea.
Well, Bill Belichick not exactly talkative with us at halftime, but I asked him about Corey Dillon. He said he has now been downgraded to questionable for his return. Stayed in the locker room, did have an arm injury, as we said in the first half. Now, Mike Shanahan told me that one of the keys defensively for them is that they have not been challenging Champ Bailey at all. One thing he would like to see is better third down conversions. They were 6 of 10. But I asked him, what pointers do you give your team at halftime? And he said, just keep playing like you're playing.
Well, they're playing very well defensively. Again, they have not allowed a touchdown in 2.5 games to open the season. And with Dillon on the shelf, it's going to be a lot of Maroney, the rookie out of Minnesota. Take a look at the first half numbers. The time of possession in the first half was just about even. And in terms of rushing yardage, remember the Patriots with almost nothing on the ground, about 2 yards per carry, passing yardage about even, and as we say, the time of possession just about even.
And they have to get some life in them. I mean, I think they got to get some life in this stadium and some life in this Patriot team, especially offensively.
And Denver's going to try to suck the life out of them as Maroney gets taken down by Gerard Warren at the line of scrimmage.
And they did suck the life out of him just before halftime with that deep pass. Someone just went down in the
Kennard Lang.
Kennard Lang, yeah, he was in the huddle and he just went down. Now he's coming off. I think they took a lot of life out of him, in that big pass from Jake Plummer.
3rd down and 4 on the opening possession of the third period. 4-man front. Brady has time on the slant, hits number 80, Troy Brown, but a flag is down back at the 30-yard line. Jerry Austin throws it holding.
72 offense, 10 yards, repeat 3rd down.
That's Matt Light, who was shaken up and had to come out for a few plays at the end of the first half.
Yeah, and that would be on Gerard Warren because he was the guy that was back there rooting for that. And we talked about Champ Bailey and how they've just stayed away from him. You see it, kind of a boring night for old Champ. I mean, he's like a blanket on anyone that they put out there, and you can see why Tom Brady doesn't even look to Champ Bailey's side. There's nothing to look at.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to look at Champ Bailey after what happened in Denver in January. The 100-yard return as New England was moving for what they felt would be the go-ahead touchdown, and that turned the game completely into Denver's favor. And that pass is incomplete, thrown a little low, intended for Caldwell.
And the Patriots just can't get anything going. And just, Chris Collinsworth was even talking about it at halftime, just the whole body language of Tom Brady and of their offensive players and of their sideline. I mean, they don't look like, champion Patriots that we've been used to seeing for the last 4 or 5 years.
Not at all. And right now the Broncos have taken the crowd completely away. Josh Miller, booming kick, fielded 23-yard line, and a great tackle made on Darren Williams. That was Randall Gay getting down there. So Plummer and his offense will have the ball for the first time in the second half. Denver 10, New England nothing. Sunday Night Football is being brought to you by Toyota. Choose any direction as long as it's forward. Toyota, moving forward. By Rocky Mountain Refreshing Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. By Sprint, be a better fan with NFL Mobile, only from Sprint Power Up. And by The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift on DVD and HD DVD, September 26th. About 30 miles south of Boston, Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, the season that the Patriots have called this beautiful facility home. Tom Brady right now is 12 out of 20, a pedestrian 135 yards. Denver has it at the 21 after a 52-yard Miller punt and -4 on the return. And Tatum Bell will swing it to the outside behind that light and fast Denver offensive line, tackled there by Harrison. In the NFL these days, if you're under 300 pounds on the offensive line, you're tiny. So you've got Lepsis and Hamilton, Nalen, and the right guard Carlisle all under 300.
And then what happens? Yeah. And George Foster comes in there tipping the Toledos around 340, but they average the lightest line, and they can do blocking schemes and that zone thing and, cut on that backside because of that size. They can do things that other big offensive linemen can't do.
And have done it for years, and there's enough of a crease there to be exploited by Bell. He gets popped by Harrison, but not until he moves the chains. First down.
And sometimes I think offensive linemen have really gotten too big in the NFL, and they can't do the movement things. I mean, they don't pull and lead. They don't get out. I mean, watch the way that they do it. I mean, here's the way you pull a guard. You see Ben Hamilton. He pulls from the left to the right, makes that lead. But those kind of moves are very difficult for a 350-pound guy. And I think, pulling, leading, and then getting out on screen passes are types of things that these smaller guys can do that the big old guys can't do.
Rodney Harrison needs a timeout for an injury here, so they work on Harrison, and we'll be back in a moment. Next week, it'll be the first night of October, and the unbeatens will have at it. Boy, it will be rocking at Soldier Field. Seattle 3-0, Chicago 3-0. It all gets started at 7 o'clock football night in America. Next Sunday night.
You see that Brian Urlacher when he tackles? He always looks like he's mad at the guy he's tackling.
Yeah.
He body slams him.
He's great to watch. Harrison comes out of the game. He was shaken up for the injury timeout, and now Plummer's going to go deep, and the pass is incomplete, and a flag is thrown. You had the rookie tight end Scheffler, who was backing up and starting to lose his balance, and still is able to draw the flag.
One of the things that Mike Shanahan was telling us that he liked about Tony Scheffler is that he had such great body balance and and could move his body in the open field and and get a defender where he wants him.
36 defense. Automatic first down.
That's James Sanders, and I guess that's the reason he was off balance. James Sanders had just come in to replace Rodney Harrison after Harrison was shaken up.
Right, and he's a safety playing in a cornerback position, and he did get his hands on him early. You watch right there. It's after 5 yards. Now you can't do that. Then he didn't turn his head towards the ball. You can't do that. So he had two. You can't do that on that play.
And the next thing you saw was a penalty flag, and they went right for the open wound after the injury timeout. That's a 30-yard penalty. The ball is at the 37-yard line. Plummer, short drop. Timing pass again for the rookie tight end. And they figured they'd go back to that same trough again, and this time Sanders with the coverage.
That's what Mike Shanahan will do, is he'll get someplace where he can find a mismatch. And you get that, your tight end, you split them out, you get them one-on-one outside on a backup safety, and that's the guy you want to throw to. I wonder if he'll do it again.
Well, you've got Scheffler split wide to the right here, but this time you got Eugene Wilson coming over, pressing him near the line. Now Wilson's going to back away, and Plummer's going to hand the ball off and to the 34-yard line. Richard Seymour makes the tackle on Tatum Bell. 20-yard plays tonight or more. Bell had A 21-yard run, Kirkus with a 24-yard reception, and the only touchdown of the game on a 32-yard catch by Javon Walker, plus you had the 30-yard pass interference penalty.
Right, and that was what Bill Belichick was talking about the other day. He said, that's the big thing we have to do against the Broncos. We have to eliminate big plays.
3rd down and 7. Plummer over the middle, and that pass is incomplete. Would have been close to a first down. Rod Smith got hit by Chad Scott as the ball arrived.
And Chad Scott arrived at the right time. I mean, that's what you want to do, because if you get there any earlier than that, it's going to be pass interference. You want him, I mean, they're going to get the ball to him, and he gets it right now. You give it to him. And you put everything you have and try and get it right on that ball. He got his shoulder pad and his helmet right on the ball to knock it out of there.
Well, they're going to pass up the opportunity for a 51 or 52-yard field goal for Jason Elam, who, of course, can kick him that far. He and Tom Dempsey share the record at 63. And they'll punt with Ernsters, and now it's a field position situation for Shanahan, and it's a high floating kick that gets fair caught at the 17-yard line. So not exactly what they had in mind. Troy Brown makes the fair catch. 10:45 remaining in the 3rd period. It remains 10-0 Denver. When it comes to the Patriots, it's often easier to extract news from the Pakistan-Afghanistan border than it is from New England. But we're being told Rodney Harrison with an arm injury, and his return is probable.
I think that's a full upper body injury, because that he got it on that tackle he made, and he kind of had a helmet to helmet, head to head, and then, like I said, I think it's his head, neck, shoulders, and everything.
Doug Gabriel comes into the game, the receiver, late of Oakland. This is Lawrence Maroney, and Maroney gets slung down by Ian Gold after a gain of about 7. Doug Gabriel came over just before the season started from the Raiders. Now the Patriots, and we've been telling you about the guys they have lost. Willie McGinnis was here for 12 years, and he moved on to Cleveland. Adam Vinatieri, maybe the greatest clutch kicker ever. You think back to the Snowball game and 2 Super Bowl wins. Givens went to the Tennessee Titans. And Deion Branch, of course, with the contract dispute, even though he had a year left. They let him seek a trade, and he winds up going to Seattle. And then over the middle, the catch is made here by Troy Brown. So when in doubt, look for your man Brown. Troy's only been doing it for 14 seasons.
And they're going, they started to go no huddle. Now they're going to huddle. But they started here with a play action pass. And that's going to hold the linebackers. You see the linebackers, in fact, that held the safety too. And that allowed Troy Brown to get to that next level. But it was a play action pass to that side. And that's the side that Brown came on.
Ball at the 45-yard line. Maroney, flea flicker. Brady's looking downfield, throwing for Brown off his fingertips. Troy Brown with Darren Williams covering on the play. So the flea flicker, the rookie pitches it back, and he almost connects with Troy again. And now you've got a flag down back at midfield.
Isn't it something that Troy Brown just a couple of years ago was a 3rd wide receiver, then he was a 4th wide receiver, then he was cut, and now he's Tom Brady's go-to guy.
When the quarterback hands off, illegal contact rule goes away. 2nd down.
And because he handed off to Maroney, once that happens, illegal contact cannot be called. So the officials saw it. He saw the illegal contact, but it was after this had taken place.
Because right there, once he hands off, then defense can play run because it's been a handoff. Yeah, that was quite a throw, though. I mean, that was darn near a perfect throw.
2nd and 10. Broncos playing without their middle linebacker. Al Wilson is over on the bench. He's been in and out. That's Dominique Foxworth covering Brown. 3rd down and 10. Bob Kraft, of course, was a fan for so many years and loved the Patriots. And there he is with his son Jonathan and his wife Myra. And then he bought the team. And he's all he's done is gone to 4 Super Bowls and win 3. Apart from that, not much.
Well, and hired Bill Belichick. I mean, he hired some good people, put together a good organization. They went out and got some good players, and and then they went out and lost some good players, and I think that they're kind of paying the price now.
3rd down and 10. And Brady's going to go down. The coverage was there. Patrick Chukwara, 6th year out of Wyoming, comes in pass rush situations. He excels in that and knocks Brady down there, and New England's going to have to punt.
And that was one of those things that is a coverage sack. I mean, it wasn't that the pass protection broke down. The pass protection really wasn't bad. Tom Brady just had no one to throw to.
Josh Miller punting toward Darren Williams. And the left-footed kicker angles one toward the corner, collected at the 6-yard line. And Williams in trouble. Really in trouble. Boy, I tell you what, he is lucky he didn't get tackled in the end zone. They're getting him forward progress to the 1. It's always dubious to make the catch where he did it. And then he almost paid a very hefty price. Plummer backed up. New England trying to get very much back into it. 10-0 Denver. So the crowd comes to life. New England needs a 3 and out. Denver at the 2-yard line after a near safety, looking for some breathing room. And Bell goes next to nowhere. They got a pretty good spot on it, because when Darren Williams fielded and started to back up, all he saw was blue shirts. I mean, he was in a lot of trouble. He starts to back up, and now, of course, his forward progress is outside the goal line. The ball never got into the end zone, so that's where they spotted. They should have spotted it at the 1. They actually gave another yard and spotted it at the 2.
Well, Darren Williams should never go backwards. I mean, that's one of the rules of a punt returner. You catch the ball and you go forward. So when he saw he had no place to go, he should have just put his head down and gone down. This is where, if Bill Belichick is going to be a defensive genius, these are the 2 plays he has to be in on.
Meanwhile, the rookie Mike Bell comes in because Tatum Bell comes out. He was holding his shoulder, and Rod Smith, the money man, makes the catch, as he has for 12 years with Elway and Greasy and Bubby Brister, and now Jake Plummer. And he comes off.
And Jake Plummer saw that big cushion out there. Watch, here's Rod Smith out there, and you see about a 5 or 6 yard cushion. So Jake Plummer knew that he could get that ball out there and get a 1st down.
Shaken up for the Patriots now is Ty Warren. So Warren will need a moment. You've got Tatum Bell out of the game, and Rod Smith went off gingerly after that catch.
And one thing, if there was a question on Jake Plummer or Jake Plummer's confidence, I think Mike Shanahan shows the confidence. I mean, when you're coming off the goal line like that, and you'll throw a pass out of your own end zone backed up, and he did it last week too. So they can say, that they cut back in the game plan, which Mike Shanahan said that he didn't do. But when you will throw a pass coming off your goal line, and again, like I said, they did that last week too, you do have confidence in your quarterback.
Mike Shanahan said he was joking. He said, I cut back in my game plan. The next thing you know, it's a headline. It's on the internet. Everybody's talking about it. He says, I was joking.
Yeah. Well, must not have a very good sense of humor.
From the 14-yard line, that pass is swatted down by Asante Samuel, and you got a flag down. David Kirkus, the intended receiver.
It'll be interesting. That slant thing is, the outside receiver trying to get inside
pass
the corner.
Interference, 22 defense, automatic 1st down.
So Samuel with the penalty, and the ball is now at the 20-yard line with a 1st down.
We talked about the perfect timing of hitting the guy just when the ball gets there, and you can't get there early. You see right there, he starts to cut him off. Oh, I don't think there was anything wrong with that one, because Asante Samuel got the position.
You saw Brady express his opinion from the Patriot bench. Warren is back in the game. The fake, and then the pass is caught at the 40-yard line, but knocked away, incomplete. Kyle Johnson never had possession. Luckily for Denver, Eugene Wilson got there along with the ball. So they go to the fullback, and he almost creates a fumble, but according to the officials, Johnson never had possession with feet down.
Watch the hit that Eugene Wilson puts on him now. Again, it's the fake the lead. The fullback goes straight up the middle, catches the ball right there, and watch Eugene Wilson. He puts his helmet right on the ball. Ball comes out of there and hit the ground. So you have to catch the ball and then make a football move with it before it's a fumble.
Ruled an incomplete pass at 2nd down and 10. The ball is at the 20-yard line. Mike Bell, the rookie free agent, tackled by Ty Warren.
Well, it's tough to run in there, you know, with Warren in there, Vince Wilfork, you know, Richard Seymour, Bruschi, Junior Seau. I mean, they really plug and converge on that middle.
3rd down and 9.
Now they're in a Foreman nickel, and most of the time when they've been in this defense with multiple defensive backs, they've brought some kind of blitz.
Harrison back in at strong safety. Plummer to the outside, and that pass is incomplete, intended for the tight end Steven Alexander. But at least the Broncos were able to move out from the 2-yard line. New England did not get the 3 and out, and there's plenty of room here for Ernster to launch one. Kevin Falk dropping back to run it back. 6:15 remaining.
The Patriots should get pretty good field position after this punt return.
And it's a short kick. That will be knocked down at the 36-yard line. It's a 43-yard boot. Brady coming back, trying to lead his team back, trailing by 10. Next Sunday, you've got NASCAR returning to NBC. Jeff Burton, by the way, won today at Dover, Delaware. His first trip to victory lane in 175 races. The Banquet 400 from that track outside of Kansas City, Kansas. 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Banquet 400 NASCAR on NBC next Sunday. And that pass is incomplete as Brady starts this drive on an incomplete pass for Ben Watson. The distribution tonight, the wideouts have caught 6. The running backs 5 and the tight ends 3. Brady is 14 of 25 for 163, which is pretty average at this point. 2nd and 10. Maroney. And Dillon is out. Al Wilson makes the tackle. Wilson's been out. You can see his hamstring, his leg is wrapped. He got hurt earlier. Andrea, we'll get a report from Andrea right after the play because the Patriots are going to go no huddle here. And it is on 3rd and 1, trying to sneak for the first down. But as a flag, Jerry Austin with the flag, the Patriots trying to get up before Denver can make any change. It was 3rd down and 11.
Illegal substitution on the defense. Correction, 2 men on the field on the defense.
Yeah, that's the old Peyton Manning thing.
It's still 3rd down.
Where you go up there and you go no huddle, and then if they try and make a substitution, you just snap the ball, and then they have too many men in the field.
One of the few defensive fouls that does not result in an automatic first down. Thus it is 3rd and 6 from the 40-yard line against a 4-man Bronco front and a 4-man rush. And Brady going deep downfield, and that's tipped away at the last moment by Nick Ferguson on a pass intended for Rashay Caldwell.
Well, they were taking a shot here. You know, they thought that they were getting that safety up. And you see Caldwell, he's the outside guy. In fact, he was on Champ Bailey, and they haven't looked at Champ Bailey all night, so they decide, let's go work on Champ Bailey, and we'll run a post on him. They beat Champ Bailey, but the safety was there.
They're beaten by the other guy. Miller's kick, and that one will bound out of bounds at the 19-yard line. Okay, injury updates and And other news, let's go to Andrea.
Well, mesh unit update for the Broncos. Tatum Bell is on the sidelines here. He has cramping. His return, they're calling it probable. We saw them stretching and massaging his legs on the sidelines. As for Kennard Lang on the defense, he had a mild concussion, but they did let him go back in. And as you guys observed earlier, Al Wilson, a tight hamstring, they wrapped it up and they sent him back in also. So we'll see if they go, they're back when Denver's back on defense.
All right, Andrea, so Tatum Bell, who is going to be the workhorse tonight and has been with 17 carries for 86 yards. There he is. Mike Bell spells him, unrelated. Rookie free agent from Arizona. 2 carries, 5 yards for Mike Bell tonight.
The Patriots have been in that 3-man line all night.
Ooh, Mike Bell, and that's Junior Seau, and he's only been doing that for 17 years.
The Broncos have had a tough time running inside, and part of it is that nose tackle, and part of it is those 2 inside linebackers. And Junior Seau can sure read a run at him, can he? And then do something about it when he gets there.
Only since about 1990. 37 years old. He was going to retire, and Belichick said, wait a second. Got a spot for you right here. 2nd and 10. This is Mike Bell. And a flag comes down back at the 18-yard line. Looks like a hold on George Foster, the right tackle.
Illegal block from behind. Number 50. 10 yards. Repeat 2nd down.
Ben Hamilton, the left guard.
We're talking about Junior Seau, and he played with Rodney Harrison, who, by the way, is back in there. Played with him at San Diego, and you know, and when Rodney Harrison left and Junior Seau went to Miami, you know, they thought that'd be the end. They'd never play together, and then Rodney Harrison said, I was watching, and Junior Seau gave this big speech about graduating, and I thought, well, that's the end of Junior Seau's career. And then he said, the next thing I know, he's here. And he said, I'll tell you the truth, it's a great move for us. That's a no-brainer. And if we can get a Junior Seau, we need an inside linebacker. We can get him. That's a great move for the Patriots.
Everybody was doing these flowing, glowing tributes. He'll do it again the next time he retires. 2nd and 20. Plummer dancing his way out of trouble, and then just throws it out of bounds.
You know what that's a definition of right there, is a tired defensive line. I mean, there was no rush at all on Jake Plummer. So it's good that they had good coverage down the field. Although they're not running many patterns down here very well. But Jake Plummer just stood back there, and it didn't look like the Patriots were even rushing him.
Third and 20. Patriots trying to set up good field position after a punt. Keaton pinned down. Draw play. Mike Bell. And he'll buy Denver about 7 or 8 yards up to the 18-yard line.
Yeah, the Patriots are going to keep everything in front of them in that situation. They just had a 3-man line, and they were, you know, dropping 8 guys, keeping everything in front of them so they could see the draw and react to it before they could get close to a first down.
So Ernster to punt, his last punt from about the same spot here. And then New England had a 3 and out. We're down to 3.5 to play in the third. 10-0 Denver. High, relatively short kick. Falk, flag is thrown. Falk's going to take off for a good return. Now you've got another flag that comes in, and yet another. You have 3 flags. You have one at the 15, you have one at the 50, and one at the 30. So they're all over the field. One of them is going to be Sam Brandon for a face mask.
Well, there has to be an illegal block in the back, doesn't there, or a clip? There has to be one of those. That's the favorite variety on a punt return.
At least 2 separate fouls here, and maybe a third, because the 3 flags all came in separately and are well spaced.
Right, they're about 15 yards apart. I mean, there's one down on this end, one out here in the middle of the field, and one equidistant between the 2.
Well, you're going to get the face mask on Brandon for sure at the end of the play. You might have had an illegal block.
That's what I would think. There has to be a block in the back.
That's the one at the 50-yard line. Now you've got one back near the line of scrimmage as well at the 15-yard line.
Belichick loves this. It gives him a chance to lengthen that neck out in that sweatshirt. Fans love it too, don't they?
3 fouls, yeah.
Holding 83 of the kicking team. Illegal block from behind, 51 of the receiving team. Personal foul, face mask, 51 of the kicking team. Gross penalty and an offset. We play 4th down.
So the crowd got excited because they thought it was like a 2-for-1 sale.
Yeah.
There were 2 fouls against Denver. There can be 11 fouls against one team and 1 foul against the other, and it doesn't matter. They offset. So 2-for-1 doesn't buy you anything here.
There's going to be the first one right there. That's the hold. That was well, that wasn't before. I guess that was about the time it was kicked. And there's the face mask. And then we have to have one more, would be the illegal block in the back. But we're going to do it over again.
Do it over. Offsetting.
Tell you one thing, it's lit up this crowd a little, put a little life back in it.
Well, the crowd is lit up to begin with the 4th chant of, well, you know what they were chanting.
No, I know what they were chanting, but they've been down a little, especially when the Patriots have been on offense, and now they can feel that they're going to get the ball here in pretty good field position.
Ernster to punt again. No flags yet. This is a good deep line drive kick. Falk at the 29-yard line. And he brings it back to the 40-yard line. Tackled there by Sam Brandon. Last year, Ben Watson made a phenomenal play here. Even though Champ Bailey made the turnaround play of the game. As the Patriots were driving for what would have been the go-ahead touchdown, you had Bailey intercepting in the end zone. But watch Watson, the tight end, who was 40 yards away at one point, and then at the end, he knocks Champ Bailey out of bounds before he's able to get the touchdown. They subsequently got the touchdown, but it was, I mean, that was a play for the ages.
I'll tell you, that's a play that probably everyone appreciates, but I'll guarantee you coaches appreciate that kind of play.
Even Mike Shanahan said, he said that was just unbelievable.
Well, that was the first thing you said. You know, we said, how about that, you know, the big play by Champ Bailey, you know, in the return in that game, and he said that was a great play. He said that play that Ben Watson made was one of the greatest plays that I've ever seen as a coach.
And it wasn't as if Bailey was necessarily hot dogging it. You know, you run 100 yards at altitude.
You know, just the fact that he tried. I mean, most people wouldn't even try to do something like that.
Set up the screen to Graham here, and that's going to net a first down. Fake left, went right, and John Engelberger makes the tackle, and that'll take the ball across the 50-yard line into Denver territory.
Yeah, this has to be a tough deal for Tom Brady now, because again, you know, he really doesn't feel comfortable with the wide receivers. He's lost his running back, his starting running back, in Corey Dillon, and if you say where does he have confidence, well, it's in Troy Brown. I mean, he's been with him for a long time, and his tight end, and then Falk when he's in the backfield as a receiver.
Ball at the 47-yard line. Short little roll. Brady buys time. Brady goes deep, and that one is out of bounds. Intended for the former Raider Doug Gabriel. Well, New England has been, we were talking about the Chicago Bears being resilient. New England's been extremely resilient, John, through the past few years, and even when they don't play particularly well, as was the case 2 weeks ago, they're trying to duplicate what they did against Buffalo 2 weeks ago when they played a bad first half and came from behind in the second. Meanwhile, Denver with this shutout streak, no touchdowns.
Well, they're not out of this thing. I mean, 10 points. I mean, 2 scores. I mean, Tom Brady hits a couple of these things. You notice how more and more time in the NFL, after an incomplete pass on first down, 2nd and 10 becomes a running down. You know, they try and get it back because they want to stay out of 3rd and 10 and get these special defenses. So they go incomplete on first down, then they run to get some yardage back so they have a shorter 3rd down.
wonder what Diane von Furstenberg thinks of that Belichick look. 3rd and 6 at the 43-yard line. And that pass is incomplete to the outside to Daniel Graham. And now it is 4th down again. Meanwhile, the Denver defense, no touchdowns, yielded to St. Louis. They gave up 6 field goals and lost the game. No touchdowns, 2 field goals yielded to Kansas City. And tonight, the full goose egg.
You know, and I watched their defense against Kansas City, and I didn't think that they played that well, but they are playing a lot better tonight.
Now Josh Miller is going to punt, but Denver takes a timeout.
Timeout, Denver. Their first. It will be a 30-second timeout.
You know, the Patriot offense, Al, just looks like they're frustrated. I mean, you know, they're having trouble getting anything going, and it looks like it's affecting them. I mean, you just watch their body language. I mean, they're all kind of hunched over and just walking off the field, and you know, it's still a game of passion and emotion.
It has to be.
And when you lose that, then you don't have anything.
And you know what? They've got to go to Cincinnati next week. That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you know, you can make a case. Who's this game more important to? It's more important to Denver, and it looks like it is at this point the way they're playing. Because Denver's in a division where San Diego all of a sudden looks like one of the elite teams in the league. They're off today, but they're 2-0. And Denver wants to go back, regroup with a 2-1 record, obviously, and then an off week, and then 2 home games against Baltimore and Oakland coming back.
I mean, you bring up a good point. Okay, the Patriots don't look real good offensively, but who in their division is going to do anything about it?
Right. Flag is down at the 20-yard line.
But I still think you have to show some life and some fight. And, you know, I mean, I think their defense is. And I just don't, I mean, I hate to use the word sleepwalking, but I'm going to use it. The offense looks like they're sleepwalking out there.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 91 of the receiving team. Knocking a player down away from where the ball was. Half a distance to the goal, 1st down.
Ebenezer Ecubon is.
It's that old Chad Clifton rule, isn't it?
Yeah. Green Bay tackle lining the Stars tonight. There's Plummer. 1 touchdown to Javon Walker, the only touchdown of the game. Tatum Bell, nice average there at 5'1". Rod Smith's caught 5, but Walker made the big catch. He's caught 2 tonight. Tatum Bell now comes back into the game.
Now these Patriots fans are standing up, and they want their defense to go and win this game for them.
Once again, 3rd time Denver's been backed up in this period, and Bell is just able to slip out of the backfield. Vince Wilfork makes the tackle after Ty Warren almost knocked him down at the goal line.
Well, that's what you have to do sometimes as a running back, and the real good ones can do it. You know, you never want to be high, but sometimes you're low, and to get out of trouble, you have to get lower. That's what Tatum Bell did here. Watch this, he's going to come to the right here, and he almost gets tackled there, but he gets down, and he's able to get out to about the 4-yard line.
2nd and 9 from the 4-yard line. Bell, and he's going to be very close to a 1st down off a Cecil Sapp block, and that's going to end the quarter. And they'll determine whether it'll be a 1st down or not. But the Denver Bronco defense has not allowed a touchdown now in 11 quarters. We've played 3, 10-0 Denver. The first team to not allow a touchdown in the first 11 quarters of a season since the Chicago Cardinals did it in 1942. Now the Cardinals that season started 2-0, went 11 quarters without allowing a touchdown, and finished 3-8. Broncos hope that's no omen. 1st and 10 Denver from the 13-yard line, and this is Tatum Bell again. Not to the 19-yard line, and a flag is down back at the 14-yard line.
That was a late flag by the referee.
66 offense. Half a distance to the goal. 1st down.
2nd call, such call against Tom Nalen tonight, a native of Foxborough, Mass.
We're going to see Tom Nalen right here against Vince Wilfork. See, he's trying to get position, and then you see that left arm. He gets both hands inside, and then he just grabbed him with that left arm and tried to get Wilfork to go to the outside.
The Broncos tonight have started drives from their own 5, their own 2, and their own 3. So New England's had their chances. They've been getting decent field position, but their offense hasn't done anything. Noteworthy. 1st and 16 after the call. Bell to the 9-yard line.
And sometimes when your offense is struggling, the other areas have to pick up, and your defense has to make a play for you. Your special teams have to make a play. I mean, here's where this defense has to come up and get a turnover for him. You know, we talk about two-gap, and watch Vince Wilfork there. That's what two-gapping is. He has the gap on his left, then he keeps it there, then he goes to look at the gap on his right, and then goes back to the gap on his left. That was darn near a three-gapper. Wilfork is big enough to be a three-gapper.
6'2" and 325. Denver's going to take a TO. 1 minute into the 4th. Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, it's in the NFL. Is it in you? And by Subway Restaurants. Subway, eat fresh. Well, that's not from Subway.
Usually a guy with a suit and tie doesn't have an order like that in a place like that.
You're right. None of that fits.
That
Subway eat
fit.
fresh.
No, that
show
didn't
that
fit.
the guy in the suit and the tie is eating it.
Now this crowd again wants a big Patriot defensive play here.
On 2nd and 14, Denver has taken 2 timeouts already in this half, and this is Bell taking it up to the 17-yard line.
Yeah, I think with all the heat that Jake Plummer took, where they wanted to get Jake Cutler in there and get Jake out of there, and he didn't play well. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. He's pretty calm, isn't he? I thought he'd be maybe have a little confidence problem, maybe be a little jittery, but I haven't felt that all night about Jake Plummer.
Well, in all the years we've known him, 10 years in the league, college football, before that in Arizona State where he was a star. He doesn't get flustered very much.
No, and you forget how many games he's won in this league.
3rd down and 6. Plummer whacked as he throws, and then it's Javon Walker making the catch, splitting the defense inside the 30, and Javon Walker will not be caught from behind. Touchdown. And I wonder what Brett Favre is thinking at this point. Javon Walker, disgruntled in Green Bay, hurt on opening day last year, wanted to get out of there, and has really found a home in Denver. 2 long touchdown receptions tonight.
I wonder what Bill Belichick was just thinking. He had a cover 2 there where the corner, Asante Samuel, comes up and hits. Then the safety has to get over the top, and Jake Plummer hit him right between the 2. The corner come up, the safety went back. Jake Plummer made a perfect pass to Javon Walker. He took a pretty good hit there too, didn't he?
Richard Seymour hit him. Eugene Wilson out of the game. He was cramping, so Sanders was the safety helping out. They go 97 yards in 5 plays. Elam's extra point is good, and the Denver Broncos lead the New England Patriots 17-0. Walker beats Samuel and Sanders as well. 83 yards on a 3rd and 6. Their other touchdown came on a 3rd and 1, 32 yards to Walker. So Javon Walker tonight has scored 3 passes, 2 for touchdowns, and 130 yards, and it's 17-0. And New England in a big hole right now, starting from their own 20-yard line as we go back to the touchdown.
That's why I said again, and again, it's a zone defense. Asante Samuel's here, Sanders is here. Now it's going to be a zone. He's going to bump and stay up here. He has to get over, and as we let it run here, we'll see. And if we stop it right here, you'll see here's the hole between the corner and the safety. This is a hole right here that Jake Plummer has to throw it to Javon Walker. He makes a perfect throw. Poor tackle by Sanders. Great run by Javon Walker.
And again, Sanders is in there only because Wilson had cramped up and was on the bench. Wilson is the starting safety who would normally be in that spot. Kevin Falk makes the catch, and New England's going to have to go no huddle here. 12:50 to play.
Mike Shanahan was saying about Javon Walker last night. He said, he wants the ball all the time, and I like that. I mean, I like a wide receiver that says, hey, get me the ball.
2nd and 3. Brady throws, and that pass is too high, but a flag comes in. Caldwell, the intended receiver. Denver is signaling that it's offensive pass interference, and it will be. Well, Denver had a big play guy, Ashley Lalee.
Pass interference, 87 of the offense, 10 yards, repeat 2nd down.
But the word disgruntled, you can use that adjective with a lot of receivers. Walker was disgruntled in Green Bay, Lalee was disgruntled in Denver, and he wound up getting traded.
Right, and you'll see Caldwell there. You see he put his left hand on Bailey first, then he put his right hand. Watch, his left hand pushes there, and then he pushes with his right hand. They've only gotten to work on Champ Bailey a couple of times, but both of them have been deep.
2nd and 13. And that's caught by Doug Gabriel, and he'll pick up a first down. Why is disgruntled always attached to a wide receiver?
They're the position that got to be the prima donnas. I mean, you don't see it in running backs. At one time you did see it in running backs, and then that kind of left. You don't see it in tight ends much. You never see it in an offensive lineman. And that stuff seeps into the NFL through the wide receiver position.
Here's Brown. And Brown gets taken down at the 39-yard line by Darren Williams.
It was interesting though. Last week when we were in Dallas and talking to Terrell Owens, he ended up going to Dallas, but the team that he wanted to go to was Denver. He said that's where he wanted to go, and he told them that, and they didn't take him, and obviously the Dallas Cowboys did.
2nd down and 6. And this is Doug Gabriel. And that will move the chain. So New England trying to get something started, trying to get back into the game. And again, Denver's got that streak going. They have not given up a touchdown this season.
Yeah, and Tom Brady has found something over there in that left side and throwing the ball to Doug Gabriel. Doug Gabriel's not a bad player.
Had been with the Raiders. Got traded here at the start of the season. And that's a nice catch here by Benjamin Watson as he makes the catch in front of Patrick Chikwara.
That was a great catch.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about a receiver laying out. Ben Watson laid out on that one.
At the 42-yard line, 2nd down and a long 2.
Patriots are up in the tempo here a little.
Showing life. Moving the chains again. Falk makes the catch, and that's a first down at the 35-yard line. This drive began back at the 20.
When you think you're down 17-0, you're thinking in terms of 3 scores. So you go into a hurry-up offense a lot sooner. You don't wait for 4 minutes or 2 minutes. You start at 10 minutes.
From the 35-yard line, Brady, a ton of time, checks down underneath. Falk makes the catch. He's taken down at the 29. That'll be a gain of 6.
And Tom Brady knows this now, and his offense is approaching, getting 3 scores, not just getting one score, but going hurry up this early so that you have time to get that 2nd and then the 3rd. And you say, well, if you can do that with that time, why didn't you start a little earlier?
Meanwhile, he is gassed, and Chikwara throwing up on the field, and Denver has to take a timeout. It's a good thing they lead 17-0 because they are now out of timeouts. Denver had to take the timeout because Chikwara was throwing up on the field. He was gassed. Like he ate one of those sandwiches we showed you in the last commercial break, but he got sick.
He ate more than one sandwich he left out there. How'd you like to be the guy that has to get in the stance right where he left it?
Ooh, baby.
But I'll tell you, that up-tempo thing of the Patriots has taken a lot of gas out of this Denver Bronco defense.
2nd down and 3 now. New England down by 17. 3-possession game. But they're effectively throwing underneath, moving the sticks. Doug Gabriel makes the catch, tackled there by Darren Williams.
Again, and the Broncos are having a tough time adjusting to this. I mean, get down and get another pass rush. Their pass rush is just about down to nil.
Brady from the 22, a little fake. Then he hits Maroney again. Dillon's hurt, so Dillon's out. Maroney's the guy. And the rookie is taken down at the 8-yard line by Darren Williams.
I think when you're down 17-0 with 9 minutes, 35 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, I think the guy you want in there is Maroney.
And Darren Williams is shaken up on the play.
I think Al Wilson is already out of there also.
Yep. He's been in and out tonight. Chukwara out. Williams now hurt. There's Wilson on the sideline. Timeout. Tomorrow night, Matthew Perry, Bradley Whitford in NBC's Studio 60 over 19 million. Tuned in last week, and you can catch it tomorrow night, Monday night, right here on NBC. Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. Darren Williams came out of the game. Carl Pema comes in to replace him. So it's a kind of a patchwork Denver defense right now. Brady's been perfect on this drive. And again, the Broncos working on that long streak of more than 11 quarters to start the season without allowing a touchdown.
And Tom Brady on this drive is looking like Tom Brady.
First down and goal from the 8-yard line. Four-man rush. Brady to the back of the end zone, and that is caught by Doug Gabriel for the touchdown.
Well, Tom Brady did find something, and that something is Doug Gabriel. They didn't play much of it all in the first half, and then they thought they made an adjustment, and they started to get Doug Gabriel in there, and Brady's found him. One thing, Tom Brady doesn't run a lot, but he really works the pocket well. See, he feels those ends getting up the field. He knows that he can step up, buy a little time to let Doug Gabriel get to that end line.
Well, that was Pema who came in replacing Darren Williams, who blew the coverage on the play. The kick is good by Gostkowski. And Pema, when Gabriel went inside, he went outside. 17-7. So Denver yields its first touchdown of the year. Brady on that drive. A lot of symmetry here. He was 10 for 10. 10 passes, no runs. Gabriel caught his first 4 passes as a Patriot. 4 for 44.
Well, they look like they have a little emotion over there in their offense now, don't they? I mean, they're showing a little life, and you're getting upset about this. I mean, you get down 17-0 and at your stadium in front of your fans, you're not supposed to do that. They talk about revenge from last year and all that stuff. I didn't see any of that.
Nope. They've turned it into a 2-possession game. 9-13. Again, Denver has used all of its timeouts.
Right, and the Patriots have all of their timeouts, so I wouldn't be thinking onside kick here at all.
No. Not sure they were thinking a ground ball kick either, but that's going to work. Taken at the 2-yard line by the just acquired Quincy Morgan. And the Q-man gets dropped at the 14-yard line. And for the Patriots now, and Junior Seau and the gang, a pretty big series here. What they love here is a 3-and-out. Otherwise, Denver is going to have the opportunity to use up some of the clock.
I'll tell you what they'd love more than a 3-and-out is a turnover.
Yeah.
And that's what defenses, I think, have to think here. Don't think of just stopping them. Don't think of just playing solid defense. Think about going for the ball and scoring a touchdown on defense.
Harrison's in, but Eugene Wilson is still out. Sanders in his spot. That free safety, the ball at the 14-yard line. And this is Tatum Bell. And Bell's going to take it out to the 19-yard line. And for Tatum Bell tonight, very effective running. 21 carries, 104 yards. He's averaging 5 yards per carry.
He runs a little more like Clinton Portis and some of those other Denver Bronco running backs. Clinton Portis used to make 2 or 3 moves, All the other ones would just, make one move and go downhill. And I feel right here in Tatum Bell, he'll make 3 or 4 moves sometimes.
Bell at 114 against New England last year in the regular season game. Plummer flush, throws against the grain, finds the open man, and this is the tight end Steven Alexander out to the 44-yard line. So he picks up a first down and gets to chew up some more clock now.
And that's vintage Jake Plummer. I mean, that's what he does best. He runs a bootleg. You fake to the back one way. Jake Plummer runs the other way, and you have your tight end crossing. That's exactly what you see. See, fake here, bring your tight end on across like that. Jake's looking up the field the whole time, and he hits him right in the gap between the linebackers and the secondary. Anytime I think of Jake Plummer, if you had a picture, what's a picture of Jake Plummer? To me, it would be running that bootleg pass.
Yeah. Little roll throw against the grain. Tatum Bell up to the 45-yard line. You're talking about Plummer's scalp. Well, take a look at that. With John Elway, and he won 2 Super Bowls, of course, with Elway, did Shanahan, a .729 win percentage. With Plummer, for what it's worth, a little bit better. In other words, we're not saying Plummer's Elway, but the point is made here that you win with Jake.
Yeah, right. He's won a lot of games, and as you just made the point, Jake Plummer's no John Elway, but he is a pretty good NFL quarterback.
2nd and 9 from the 45-yard line. Bell. Tatum covering up, making sure he secures the ball. Stopped at the 48-yard line, and a pretty big 3rd down play coming up for the New England defense here. Otherwise, you pick up that first down and you take another 2 minutes and 2 and change off the clock.
Yeah, and the Patriots had a chance to come up with some big defensive plays and haven't done it yet. I thought the Bronco defense was tired. I think the Patriot defense is tired too. And when they had them backed up is when they had to make the play. Now the Broncos have good field position even if they don't get a first down.
3rd down and 6 from the 48-yard line. Plummer. That's caught, but it won't be a first down. Rod Smith gets tackled just over the 50-yard line by Rodney Harrison, and New England will get the ball back.
And they're probably going to get the ball backed up. Because when you punt from this, we used to have the rule where you'd stand on the 10-yard line, and if it went over your head, you'd let it go, or you stand on the 8-yard line. But now the way these punters can take that ball and put backspin on it or whatever and drop it in the 1 and 2-yard line, I think you have to field it inside the 10.
We saw Ernster do that before. Can he do it again? The rush was on that time. Falk's going to call for the fair catch, and he's going to make it at the 8-yard line. So they went 80 yards. Now they're going to have to go 92 yards. Let's go to Andrea.
Well, after that 80-yard drive out, the Broncos defense was on the sidelines, very gassed. A couple of guys that we looked at in particular, but one was Darrent Williams, who has a strained neck. They're calling his return questionable. He's sitting here on the bench and doesn't look like he's moving anytime soon.
That's key, too, because you had Pema coming in the last time, and they put Pema one-on-one with Gabriel, and Gabriel cut to the inside and got the touchdown.
And that's what they're going to do. I mean, you see a guy out here, and the starter's hurt, and they put a guy in there. That's where he's going to look. Because Champ Bailey's here. He's not going to go to that side.
Out of the shotgun. From the 8. He completed 10 of 10 on the last drive, and he starts here with an incompletion. That was Bailey over the middle on the pass intended for Benjamin Watson. Brady's completed 25 passes tonight. And as you can see, 5 to the running back, Maroney. All 4 to Gabriel came on that last drive.
You see the number of passes he's thrown to his running backs and tight ends. That's where it's going to come up in this offense this year. And I think they would hope that they would have a better running game than they've had tonight. Yeah. Running game's gone now. I mean, now we just have to throw.
Well, they have 20 rushes tonight for 45 yards. The rest of them non-existent. Brady's going deep into coverage, and that's Dominique Foxworth, who almost made the interception, and Troy Brown, who knows how to be a defensive back as well as a receiver, had to turn into a DB on that play.
And that's exactly what he did. brought Champ Bailey on the blitz.
So Brown is able to knock away the potential interception. 3rd down and 10 from the 8-yard line. Brady, and that one is thrown out of bounds. Doug Gabriel, the closest to it. So go figure. You go 10 of 10 for 80 yards. You have a perfect drive. Then you come out, you get the ball back, and you go 0 for 3.
Well, they didn't have pace or tempo that time. The last time they went no huddle, and they established pace and tempo by getting a couple of first downs. There they were backed up, and it looked like they were just trying to get out of there, but get out of there quickly.
Josh Miller to punt. Rod Smith will now have to run the kickback because Darren Williams is on the bench. And that's a low line drive end over end kick. Smith at the 41, you got a flag thrown. And he's forced out of bounds at the 43-yard line. And there's another flag. So you have a flag at the end of the play at the 43. You have a flag down near the line of scrimmage at the 10.
Who would have thought? Here's Rod Smith, 12th year. Last week he had a concussion. And now in the 4th quarter he's a punt returner.
No,
go figure.
Yeah. Well, who was it earlier in the game? Mild concussion, but he's back in.
Yeah. I don't know how they know it's a mild concussion.
Neither do we. Laugh about it, but there's nothing to laugh about.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, that's getting more and more serious, and I think that, teams and doctors are, starting to take it more seriously during the game. This has been a frustrating night, I think, for Bill Belichick.
We have 2 fouls on the play. We have holding, number 15 of the return team. We have a face mask by the kicking team. The penalties will offset at the dead ball spot. 1st and 10, Denver.
So the play stands, and Denver has the ball, and of course they'll begin to use as much of the clock as they can.
But I mean, they hadn't gotten anything going consistently tonight on offense, and then his defense, when he needed a big play, didn't get it. Like I said, when you struggle on offense, that will happen. But you have to go to another area, and your defense has to step up and make a play, get a turnover. Your special teams has to get a big return, something like that. And the Patriots haven't done it tonight.
43-yard line. Bell. And Tatum Bell picks up a 1st down. And the ball will be in New England territory at the 43-yard line. No turnovers in tonight's game. That was a 14-yard gain right there.
Good block by Kyle Johnson, the fullback. He takes on Roosevelt Colvin. Colvin can't get off the block, and Tatum Bell just runs right by him. Javon Walker gets a good block. That's one thing that Javon Walker will do. I mean, he's a big guy, and he will come inside and catch a ball, and he will come inside and block.
And Walker has to come off the field after that block. He's on the sideline. Bell to the 41. John, I mean, they were alternating running backs series last week. Everybody's consternated about Jake Plummer, and then all of a sudden, you're going to go back to Denver, probably with a victory, off week, Baltimore and Oakland on the horizon. All of a sudden, the sun is shining in the Rockies.
This is the NFL. I mean, you think 2 weeks ago we're in Dallas and they're talking about Drew Bledsoe. Last week we were, the Washington Redskins. It was last week we were in Dallas. Last week the Washington Redskins, Mark Brunell, couldn't get anything going, and today sets an NFL record, and that's the NFL.
2nd and 7. Just making sure he stays in bounds here is Bell. And then, of course, the New York Giants. Frustrated against Indianapolis on opening night. New England takes a timeout. Then the miracle win last week, so everybody's excited. And then they go to Seattle, and the next thing you know, it's 35-0 at one point.
And Seattle looks like they're the real deal. I mean, they were, in the Super Bowl a year ago. So, I mean, here's the top team in the NFC you're playing, and they look like they're getting better because where they didn't have wide receivers, now they look like they've added, and they have wide receivers now with Deion Branch, and they got Darrell Jackson back.
So 3:48 remaining in the 4th quarter. Tom Brady had that one good drive. The numbers look pretty good, but he and the Patriot offense have had much better nights. The offense tonight on the ground, just 45 yards. Plummer's numbers aren't bad, but you know, those 2 touchdowns, the 2 long passes to Javon Walker. There was the touchdown to Gabriel, which was the first touchdown yielded by Denver this season. And right now it's 3rd down and 9 with Denver nursing that 10-point lead.
I think Denver has fixed their thing. I mean, they had the disgruntled player. We're talking about Ashley Lilly, and they come up with a Javon Walker, which is going to be okay.
And then New England does get the stop. They can take the timeout here. That will conserve a little bit more time. Sayal makes the tackle, and Ernster will try to pin them deep again. Next week, 3-0 and 3-0. Sean Alexander, the NFL MVP last year, and Brian Urlacher, the defensive player of the year. So it will be a pretty good buzz next Sunday night at Soldier Field in Chicago as we turn the calendar to October.
I was going to say you'll have that buzz, and then Matt Hasselbeck will probably come out and throw the ball all over the park. Yeah. Stop Sean Alexander.
Yeah, that's right. Ernster's kick. Falk's going to let it go. And this time he can't put the backspin on it. So Brady will take over at the 20-yard line. New England has 1 timeout and the 2-minute warning. 3:36 remaining, and they need 2 scores.
Right, and obviously they go to hurry up right now. They'll, you know, I mean, the clock is stopped now, but after this first down play, they'll go no huddle, hurry up. Again, thinking of 2 scores and needing 10 points. They can get, you know, they need a field goal and a touchdown to tie, so you can get them in either order. And you can go down there, and if time's run out, take the field goal, then try the onside kick, then go for the touchdown.
Starting from the 20. 4-man Denver rush. Brady throws a wobbler away. Gabriel, the intended receiver, Kennard Lang put the pressure on.
I don't know if that was the pressure or a wobbler or a way. It was all 3 of those things were ugly.
On 2nd and 10. Falk. And then he gets knocked down, and they'll hustle up to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 8.
You know, it's easy to play with, you know, running backs in a running game and throwing to tight ends and backs when you're ahead. When you get behind and you have to spread them out, you know, and score quickly, it's tough to not have the wide receivers.
Now the blitz. Brady gets it away. That's caught. And it's Watson making the catch, and I think he has enough of the first down. So they blitzed on 3rd down and 8. Lang is there, but they'll move the chains, and New England has a fresh set of downs here.
You know, and you wonder why they blitz. I mean, you don't think that Denver would have to blitz in this situation, but I think they didn't want Tom Brady to get real comfortable back there.
Right. Now everybody drops into coverage, and the pass intended for Gabriel is incomplete. Payne back on the coverage.
But I don't think that Tom Brady has been comfortable back there all night. I mean, on that no huddle on that drive where they got 7 points, I mean, he looked like he got something going, but it hasn't been a comfort factor either with, you know, with his receivers. His protection really hasn't been that bad, but it doesn't look like the whole offense is really in sync.
2nd down and 10. Juggled, caught. Well, there'll be a real litmus test for New England next week because they will go to Cincinnati. Third and 2. Ticking down toward the 2-minute warning. Brady throws it underneath, and what a shot that time. Falk gets almost decapitated by DJ Williams.
DJ Williams got a hit earlier in the game. Remember, on Ben Watson, and DJ Williams went out.
Yeah, he paid the price.
That time he was standing up after the hit. Look at him right there. He started to contain, on Brady and then came back on fault.
He loves to hit you with his shoulder. That's what he did before, too. 4th down, and they will go for it, of course, and 4th and 2, and pick up the first down here on a sneak by Brady, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. So the Patriots still breathing, but barely, down by 10 with 2 minutes to play.
The fans watch and they enjoy it, but when it's all said and done, it's what's inside that locker room, how the guys standing next to me feel, and how I feel about them. And if that hasn't changed and those guys are still behind me 100%, that's all I care about.
Drew Bledsoe's in his 14th year.
Last week, Sunday Night Football controversy.
If he's not the right guy, the Cowboys have a long road.
Bledsoe going to Glenn for the touchdown.
I think he needed that.
Next week, an NFC showdown. Last year's MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. Only one will remain undefeated. Sunday Night Football.
Top of the rock. Let's see, who's going to wind up at the top of the rock tonight? We haven't even talked about it off camera, John. It just dawned on me. I mean, sometimes we do, we'll talk about it during a commercial. Right now, sound around the league from week 3.
And you make plays and then you get your butt stuffed. That's football.
For those of you that think I'm too conservative in that situation, the heck with you.
I don't like losing, period. But we lost.
Our goal is to win one game.
We needed to win a lot more than I needed 400 touchdown passes.
Let's talk about Casey. Let's not send him any Christmas cards this year. What a performance. I mean, these are not chip shots. I don't like that guy. I do not like John Casey.
And I will accept responsibility. That will not happen again. Trust me.
How do I feel? Terrible.
And we don't care what you guys are saying, what people are saying about our team.
Not that you can tell who won and who lost.
They all look like they need an antacid.
Yeah, from the 150, not 75. On first down, Benjamin Watson will pick up the first and run out of bounds.
It ought to be a game. I mean, it ought to be enjoyed more than, some of those pictures look like, they're just not enjoying this game. And, even when they win, it just really, really takes a toll.
Well, at least Gruden still has that impishness about him, but poor John has now been featured on all of those bites this season. His team is 0-3. And that's dropped by Watson.
You watch both of these lines. You watch the offensive line of the Patriots and the defensive line of the Denver Broncos, and they're both entirely spent. Watch them. I mean, there's not much happening here. Tom Brady's standing back here, standing back there, and the blue jerseys are just standing in front of the white jerseys. These guys, I think, on both teams, with Denver defense, Patriot offense, have emptied their tanks.
Second down and 10, 41-yard line. Brady. Gabriel. Gabriel should at least try to get out of bounds here. New England only has one timeout. Clock continues to run. You look in the paper tomorrow, you'll see Brady 300 and some odd yards, 311 tonight. And you go, that's a pretty good night if you didn't see the game. If you've seen the game, you go, And that's Gabriel again, but is he out of bounds? One official checks with the other, and it is no catch. Incomplete.
I think at some point here they're going to have to think of that. Maybe one more completion and then kick the field goal,
sure,
and then go for the onside kick.
Yeah, because you can get it either way. You need 10 points. It doesn't matter whether it's 7-3 or 3-7.
And you see so often a team spends all their time trying to get that 7, and then they don't have any time left for an onside kick and another score.
Second down and 10 from the 29. Brady. And that's incomplete. They certainly want to get it a lot closer before they think about a rookie kicker going for a field goal. The guy who's had his last 2 field goal attempts blocked.
Right, and the last one he had blocked was about in the same area on the field. And they are trying to, looks like get one more completion. And it would be interesting if you do get a completion for a first down, would you kick the field goal then? Obviously, if you get a completion and it's not a first down, then you have to kick the field goal.
This a 3rd and 10.
Here now, they have to kick the field goal now.
Gabriel at the 21-yard line, and they're going to bring in, you assume.
Doesn't look like they're bringing in anyone.
No. I'm as surprised as you are, though, too, at this point.
Yeah.
It's 4th down and 1. I mean, you'd be talking about a 39-yard field goal. And Brady out of the gun to try to keep the game alive for New England, and can't. Yeah, I'm surprised too, John, because that's, you draft a kid, you bring him in. I know he's at 2 block, but you got to try to get the 3 and then the onside kick there.
Yeah, when you need 10, you can get any combination of it. And had they gotten the first down, they probably would have said, well, we get that close, we may not get that close again, so we have to take a shot at the touchdown. But when they didn't get the first down on 3rd down, then I think there was only one play there.
That was Brady's 55th pass of the night, and that ties a career high.
Yeah, and it's not something that Tom Brady wanted or Bill Belichick wanted. The Patriots don't want Tom Brady throwing 55 passes.
Yeah, when you throw 55 passes, you normally lose the game, because a great way to look at how a quarterback did, and the passer rating is complex, but you look at average yards per pass. And for Brady tonight, it's under 6 yards per pass. 55 throws at 320. You're under 6. That's not good.
And that goes back again, not having the wide receivers and throwing mostly to running backs or tight ends.
And so the Denver Broncos, who went to St. Louis on opening day and lost, eked out a win at home 9-6 in a battle of field goals, are now going to head to the Rockies, have a week off. Baltimore comes in on a Monday night in 2 weeks, and then on a Sunday night we'll be there when Oakland is there. Pat Bowlen, who started the night with a rain suit, now puts on the celebratory regular suit, has just watched his team knock off the New England Patriots by a score of 17-7.
And at some point you have to say the Denver Broncos have the New England Patriots' number.
Boy, they sure do. That's 5 out of 6 counting postseason since 2001. Post-game show coming up next. Denver comes to Foxborough and knocks off New England. The final score 17-7. Early on, the blocked field goal by the Broncos there to keep it a scoreless game, and then the first of 2 long touchdowns. Javon Walker 32 yards from Plummer, and then he gets by Asante, beats Sanders, and goes 83 yards for a touchdown. The 2 touchdowns for Denver tonight. It was 17-0. Brady led him on an 80-yard drive, 10 for 10. Denver allowing its first touchdown of the season. They've allowed only 1 in 3 games. Gabriel with the score, and that's the way it winds up. 17-7 is the final. Top of the Rocky, got to go with Javon Walker. Comes over from Green Bay, catches 3 balls tonight, 2 for touchdowns, and the Denver Broncos will have a very happy ride home because of that man. Plummer and Walker, the key guys, and there with Andrea.
Well, Mike Shanahan says you get paid to make plays on 3rd down. You had 2 third downs for touchdowns. What happened?
They were great play calls, really. They came in from the sideline, and both to Javon. He made a great catch on one, and obviously the other one, he fought back for the ball and ran the rest of the way. I just threw the ball to him. So good calls from Coach, and we executed.
What was the difference tonight for you? Difficult first 2 games. What was the difference for you?
There was no difference. Just go out and play, and we had a good game plan, and just going out preparing harder than I had, and working as much as I could to get better, and knowing these guys are behind me, and just football. I went out and did everything I do the same every week, and it just happened to work this week.
What's it mean for you to have this guy here?
It's really nice. The guy's got great hands, makes big plays, and today we finally hooked up. It felt good to get in the end zone a couple times in the air, and you know, I'm just happy, ready to get a nice flight home and get ready to go into the bye week. So,
nice. Thanks very much. Javon Walker, well, this is why they brought you in to make the big plays. That's what you told me. What were you able to do to the Patriots defense tonight?
Well, you know, we knew they were going to come with a good scheme to try to stop, you know, what these guys were doing last year as far as when they were having success. And, you know, I just wanted to be a part of it. And obviously, you know, when Coach Shanahan and obviously Jake can call my number, I just want to make plays. And, you know, that's all I want to do.
You had an offensive-only, players-only mandatory meeting on Monday. Why was the offense able to be in sync tonight?
Well, because we know the capabilities of what we can do here on the field, and we weren't executing to the best of our ability. So we took it upon ourselves for everybody to be liable for their mistakes, you know, step up when it's time to step up, and, you know, just listen to the game plan and come out here and make plays, because we knew the only way we were going to have success like this team did last year is for us to put it on our backs and come out here and do what we did today.
Javon, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. Boy, Plummer was right. That was a heck of a call for that first touchdown on 3rd and short. Again, our best wishes, our thoughts to Chris Sims with a ruptured spleen today. He'll be in the hospital for a while, and we're thinking about Chris and the whole Sims family. Denver wins it by a score of 17-7. Two teams, each 3-0, meet on Sunday Night Football next week from Soldier Field in Chicago. The Chicago Bears hosting the Seattle Seahawks. Football Night in America will get you started at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Until next Sunday, Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrea Kramer, and our entire NBC Sports crew saying good night from Foxborough, Massachusetts.
NBC Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.